What? What?
Do you have a microphone
There
over
we
there?
go. There we go. What is good, San Diego?
On your
Welcome in.
fourth attempt. He's over here. What?
Welcome in to a Thursday edition of Gwynn and Chris. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello.
Yeah.
Special board op guest, Adam Klug in the building. Adam,
People may not recognize him.
No, I know his hair has grown a little bit.
He's got all this hair on the top of his head. I don't even think we need to talk about the Padres. I think we just got to start in on Adam today.
Well, before
How long is the show?
It's 4 hours. It's 4 hours.
Yeah, we'll
Adam.
get to the Padres in the last segment.
Before you know what, let's start with the Padres. I'll
sure.
get into I think Adam's plan to try to get under my skin purposely for sake of the show.
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna tell you, it worked. It definitely worked.
Really?
So we'll get into that in a bit. Let's start with the Padres.
Yes,
I don't know if
sir.
any of you guys have the little small broom at your house. You know, not the regular size one.
Yeah,
but the
this
small,
isn't a garden variety broom.
Right.
But
Get your
it's
small brooms out.
a whisk.
Yes, a whisk, if you will.
Yes, we whisked away the Dodgers.
They whisked away the Dodgers in, I thought, spectacular fashion. We've gone over Tuesday's game, but Wednesday's game was a beatdown. They take down the arch nemesis Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw in his second start. I might as well get into it right now because this is how Adam got under my skin earlier. Now,
Alrighty.
Padres broke a impressive record that Clayton Kershaw had, which is
Yes, they did.
at least one strikeout in 240?
No, 400.
Excuse me,
And
400.
23. It actually never started a game and not had at least one strikeout.
Okay, so that's
pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah.
impressive. My man Adam, and I don't know if this was a plan of his.
Never said it wasn't impressive.
He was like, I don't get it. Like, why are we?
Oh, he doesn't think we should make a thing out of that.
It shouldn't be a thing.
Really?
I mean, he kept saying it this way. This was really
Putting words in my mouth.
This is what was really getting under my skin. He said, I don't understand it. I mean, one strikeout in a game is just not that impressive. I said, well, Adam, it's with at least one strikeout.
Every game for like 12 years. It's a long streak. I mean, look, Cal Ripken only had to step out of the dugout for one at bat. But the fact that he did it 632 straight games, and I believe that's the correct number.
I think it is.
2,632 games, that's impressive, Adam. What, playing in one game is not impressive?
Am I allowed to rebuttal?
Absolutely.
Of course, you're involved.
I said I'm surprised that somebody took the time to keep track of that statistic.
Well, you know that nowadays they keep track of everything.
He did say that, but he
Thank
was
you,
also
Tony.
insinuating that it wasn't that big of a deal.
I thought it was
Then
a
I
deal.
didn't think getting one strikeout in a start was enough to keep track of.
Well, of course it is.
12
In
years
this
it
day and
is.
age, I mean, come on. You're talking about a Hall of Fame pitcher, Clayton Kershaw, who, of course, looked nothing like a Hall of Famer last
No, he
night.
did not.
And, I'm not ready. I think a lot of people are like ready to give up and say it's all over for Clayton Kershaw. And I just want to, warn you people. This was his
Question for
second.
you guys to discuss.
Oh, you say he's done, Adam, too?
He thinks he
Didn't
is.
say he's done. I said it's a topic for today's show.
Well, all right. Well, let's bring it up right now because I'm not giving up on Clayton
See,
Kershaw. This
Adam-
was his second start of the year. I'm sorry. Even when Johnson got the two hits, he's hitting line drives all over the ballpark. Kershaw's not right, but hey,
This is where Scraby and and Adam have some similarities. They put the topics in the same way that the Big Five is made. Scraby has thoughts about what he thinks it should be. Adam has these, subjects in there partly because this is what he's thinking in his head. And it's all good.
Adam is an
You
absolute.
seem to know
He's
an awful lot about my head, how I think, how I should wear my hair.
well.
I'm just jealous that you can grow hair and you choose to shave it.
I'm
all the time.
incredulous.
That's all
I'm
that is.
incredulous that any person, and if you look at me, you know why I'm incredulous. Anybody that can have hair and doesn't have
And
hair,
chooses
like I just
not
make
to have
that
it.
makes no sense to me.
No,
Adam.
me too. Anyway, Padres are looking like a pretty formidable team right now. And despite the success, I remind you that a lot of this has been done without Joe Musgrove, without Yu Darvish, at different times without Bogarts and Fernando Tatis.
Yeah.
And this team is now
Pretty good.
2 games away from being 10 games over 500.
Yeah, that's a legit thing.
I think that's a marker to pay close attention to. The Padres can get there. And again, we talked about this a little bit on the roundtable. Right now, everybody's keeping pace. It's kind of like
That's the issue.
and so a week from now, will that be the same? And I encourage all of our listeners to watch until we get to September. Go week to week.
Yeah, it's only August 1st.
Yeah,
All
go
right,
week
so
to
let's
week.
not celebrate quite yet. And you can't celebrate when you look at the wild card picture, and the Braves have 49 losses. They're the top wild card team. Padres, Diamondbacks, Mets all have 51. Cardinals have 52. Pirates, who you play 2 series with here in the next 10 days, have 53. So even though the Padres have done all that they have done, yeah, there's not a lot of room for error right now. And that is a little surprising to me because when the second half of this season kicked off, you and I got together and I said, how much will you allow for me to say that this next stretch of 11 games is important? And you said, I'll allow that it's kind of important, but it's still only late July. Because they were playing the Guardians, the Nationals, but then the Orioles and the Dodgers. And we thought, this is 11 games.
Tough stretch.
Are they going to be able to even stay afloat? They went 9-2.
No.
What if they hadn't gone 9-2? They'd honestly be sitting 3 or 4 games out of the wild card right now because everybody else has played well also.
How many times have we said timing matters, right?
Yeah.
All season long, the same group of teams we're talking about have won in streaks and lost in streaks literally at the same time, which is why when the Padres have gone in one of those ruts, the farthest they may have fallen out of the race is a game.
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody, and so the timing was right. Once again, the Padres go 9-2, and perhaps the most difficult portion of their schedule, and they needed to because everybody else went around almost the same type of numbers.
Everybody else did the same thing. So there's no room for error. And I know that there's a lot of people that, as happy as we all are, and they all are a little concerned that the other shoe will drop because here comes a quote, and I put it in quotations, an easier stretch of the schedule with the Rockies, Pirates, granted, then the Marlins, then the Pirates again, and then the Rockies again.
Yeah.
That's the next 5 series. You've got 2 with the Rockies, 1 with the Marlins. The first thinking is, we're going to mop up there, but we know better, don't we? We know because it's been that kind of a season.
We certainly know better. And I'll say this, last year, I think I might have used the term, the Padres got to get fat during this time. I'm not going to use that this time around.
Not this time around.
I'm going to say the Padres need to continue to play at a high level that they've been playing.
Keep playing well. Let the other team kick the ball all over the field and, misplay bunts and run themselves into outs. All of the things that the Dodgers did last night. Gavin Lux with 2 errors. Clayton Kershaw couldn't handle a simple bunt play. And then the one moment of the game that the Dodgers have a little something going, Lux gets the double, they score a run, and Ohtani runs into the final out of the inning with a really bad decision and gets thrown out easily at home plate. Those are the kind of things that you do when you're not playing well. And let's be honest, if that's the Dodgers like the rest of the way, then I'm not even worried about catching the Dodgers. They're not going to win any game, very many games playing like that. And with that lineup. But they're going to get better. But Betts will get back. Freeman's definitely going to come back. Muncie's due back soon. So, and they're getting Flaherty into the rotation. So get them while you can, and good on the Padres. They got them.
I'll say this. I think, based on what we saw, the Padres should have won that series.
I
agree.
agree.
Quite frankly. They were the better team. They were the healthier team. The Padres aren't even fully healthy, but they were the healthy team. So they should have taken care of business. Mike Schilt talked a little bit post-game about winning a series within the division.
Like, I know that you guys have focused on one game and all that. This was the first time that you guys have, or the Padres have won a season series against the Dodgers since 2010.
Okay.
Beating a good team like that, taking a season series, is there anything you can draw from that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're going to look to win every series against every opponent. So, clearly it's a very good, well-established, club over there. We got a lot of respect for them. They do a lot of really good things. They play the game right, and they've won a lot of baseball games. But ultimately it's about how we play, and we're looking to take care of our business.
I don't know if anybody got
Kevin's.
nervous.
I know
sorry.
you are looking at it as one at a time, but the calendar's about to turn to August. The division race is as close as it's been since May. How do you view kind of where things stand in the National League?
So, ultimately, when this is the first time the Padres have been able to win a season series against the Dodgers. And that's important now because
Wait a second. Say that again.
a season series.
And I'll say, okay. That's all Schultz said.
Well, he didn't know what the question was. I think he was just,
He's
he was
like,
are you giving me
okay,
information
so?
that I know? Okay.
So big deal. It's the way he seemed to think it was. I mean, it's a big deal to the fans.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big deal to
Well,
some of the players
more
who've been
importantly,
getting beat by him.
It's a big deal because if these two teams end up tied
right.
at the
Yeah,
end,
that's true.
There's a tiebreaker now. There's no more game 163 to decide who's the division winner. It goes to head-to-head matchups. And
that could be something.
I'm not saying that the Padres are going to track them down, but if they do, they got the tiebreaker.
Yeah, 4.5
Okay.
games.
Okay.
What are you doing to me?
Okay.
Are you going to just play a clip every time I start to talk over there?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mike Schilt. 4.5 games really doesn't seem like all that much, but if I'm the Padres, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm thinking about the Rockies and getting them back for what they did the last time they came here and making sure that you take care of that business and then go out and have another good road trip and, pile the wins on top of each other and just see where you are. There is one series left against the Dodgers late in September. I think that kind of speaks to something you've talked about a lot and that I've agreed with you on. This balanced schedule sucks.
Hate it.
There's absolutely no way that the Padres should be 4.5 games out of first place, and the team they're chasing in their own division with 2 months to go, they only have 3 games left with.
And for the record, I've been saying this before the Padres were even within range of this. It just, to me, I don't want to get going.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I understand what they're doing, but I don't like it. And, I would say the same thing if the Padres were 4.5 games ahead.
100%.
I'm not just saying that because the Padres don't have as many chances head-to-head. I just think it's bad for baseball to have a divisional race that really isn't going to be decided on the field. It's going to be decided, all over the country in games in other ballparks. But, I'm really excited with what they did last night. I thought Dylan Cease pitched mediocre. And that speaks to just how good he is because the guy gave up 3 hits. Count them, Tony, 3 hits. That's more than he had given up in the last 3 games combined. This guy's just on fire right now. And I really liked the San Diego crowd, too, last night. When he got taken out of that game, really a great standing ovation. I think the appreciation for what he's done, the appreciation for his no-hitter and what he did last night. And I watched him all the way into the dugout, Tony. He took a moment to appreciate what the fans were giving him. He was really, he had his head up, and he was very much, I think, appreciative of what the fans' response to him, and he deserved it.
I think yesterday, the fan base as a whole, they were locked in. Yes, more so than they usually are. Because I recall one of the starts. It might have been the start right before break. Dylan Cease is coming off. And he, was throwing the ball well. And I think he was trying to pump the crowd up as he was coming off.
Yeah.
This time, he didn't need to do that because they were already there and seemingly showing an 11. You're right. He did kind of take a second to kind of take it all in. I saw the same thing. To your other point, the mediocre Cease, that's just how good he has been. He threw the ball great yesterday. It wasn't no-hit stuff Dylan Cease, which he had 3 previous starts.
Right. I mean, he even had 100 pitches through 6 innings. So he was
Right.
the Dodgers made him work a little bit. But
I think anytime, and this goes for Waldron as well, like anytime you're facing the Dodger team, you're going to throw some pitches. They're not going to just let you just cruise through. They're going to, even if they're not playing well, that is part of who they are. So another terrific pitching performance from another Padres starter.
do we have a good bullpen now? They faced 10
I didn't
hitters.
even really get to watch my man Adam. He got there out in 6
He was
pitches
in
or
and out
something
of there
like that.
quick. 10 batters faced by the bullpen, 10 batters retired.
Yeah.
Just whipped right through everybody. And I thought I was a really good fan of the team. When they announced in the 7th inning that Alec Jacob was coming into the game,
You didn't know who that was, huh?
I did not know who that was. I was like, was there another trade that we made that I didn't know? Who is that?
He came up for a little bit last year
Man.
and got hurt.
Okay. I honestly didn't know he was. Thank you, Mike. I really didn't know he was on the roster. Come to find out now, Tony, in his big league career, he's faced 21 hitters. He struck out 12 of them.
Yeah.
So that's just another arm to pile on top of everything else. We haven't even seen Tanner Scott's debut yet.
No, we
that
haven't.
was really it was impressive. And the way they're hitting the ball in Profar, I mean, I don't know. This guy, every time, he just, whatever you got to have. I mean, a 2-out single to cap off that rally and bring a 3rd run in, another 2-out single to cap off another rally and bring a 5th run in. This guy is just, it's been magical to watch. And, look, I mean, Camposano, I was happy to see him light it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Couple of RBIs, hit the home run off Kershaw. He's kind of rising a little to the challenge here. He's saying, look, I mean, I lost my job to Higashioka, but I'm not going to go away. I mean, he wants to win that back, and I think that's good for the team.
Cappy's a grinder, man. He's not going to pack it in. I never.
Yeah.
That was never something that crossed my mind. I'm happy that he's starting to feel good. He's made some adjustments a little bit, and where he starts his hands and getting some good results. All right, let's get to break. We are a few minutes past where we should. We got a lot more Padres stuff on the way. Mike Schilt's discussion with Jay Cronenworth about his off day yesterday. I know many folks think that could be something. Mike Schilt had something to say about that. Plus, we got plenty more to get into. The Olympics, USA continue to do their thing. More Gwynn and Chris on the way.
Don't let it clog.
Is there any way All right, 2:24 is the time. Welcome back. Gwynn and Chris together in our Odyssey Palace studios today here in San Diego, California. Adam Klug in for the vacationing Mr. Scraby. We've shipped him out to Iowa for the next 6 days.
Get on out of here, player.
Yes, we'll let him come back the middle of next week sometime. We got a good one for you. Alden Gonzalez from ESPN will be on the program here in just a little bit. Alden was at the game last night. Saw him in the press box covering the Dodgers and the Padres for ESPN. He's a frequent guest on this show. Always fun to have him on. Not only was Alden Gonzalez in the press box last night, Tony Gwynn Jr., and I don't know if you ever make your way over to the writer's side. I know you're on the broadcast wing. But I walked in there last night, and it was jam-packed.
Yeah.
Almost playoff level attendance. And then I realized it was the Japanese media that follows Shohei. I was stunned. I mean, it's the middle of the season, and evidently these guys just follow him wherever he goes. I did not know that. I maybe thought there was 2 or 3 reporters. There was like 20 or 30 reporters.
You were around when Hideo Nomo was around. That's how it
Long
was.
time ago.
That's how it really was with him, and that was like unthought of at that point.
It feels like it's died down some, but Darvish had a lot of that too.
Not Shohei.
Yeah,
I'm not saying the amount of Shohei, but they would be on the Zooms and everything with the manager.
Oh, during what was that, 2021?
During the
during
COVID, when they could
COVID.
zoom in.
Yeah, just in terms of when we've gone to Los Angeles earlier this year, it's nuts. It's nuts. There's a lot of attention on him.
And from what I understand, because I really don't follow it that closely, Ohtani doesn't really spend a whole lot of time talking to these guys.
Yeah, no. I mean, in what was that, L.A.? Yes, in L.A. there's a sign. They had to put up a sign because the media was moving too far down the third baseline on the Dodgers side, so they had to put up a sign saying no media beyond this point. That's never been there.
Wow.
And so, I mean, that's part of that's part of what you get when you sign Shohei Ohtani, rightfully so.
With all due respect, though, to the coverage by the Japanese media, what do they need to report back? I mean, the Japanese fans who are following Ohtani either can watch the games, they can certainly go online and read the box score. He doesn't talk to any of the media. So I wonder what they say, what do they say? Yeah. Oh, he got up on this top step of the dugout and looked around. I don't know what I don't know what they're all reporting, but there was dozens of them.
They weren't reporting very many hits. I know that.
Not last
series.
night. They weren't. Padres beat the
Dodgers. He went hitless in that whole series.
Yeah, 8-1 was the final. Last night, Padres have taken the season series. They're up 7-3, and there are 3 remaining in September in Los Angeles. More on the Padres here, but quick note, Adam just ducked into us, and I kind of wish Scraby were here for this because he'd be apoplectic about it.
I'm glad he's not here for this, actually.
Mike Trout is out for the rest of the season, and apparently Mr. Trout, who was trying desperately, I guess, to come back and at least play another month and a half, has torn his meniscus again, Tony, or torn another meniscus.
It hasn't been confirmed whether it's the same leg or a new leg, but he tore a meniscus again.
Man, I mean, Scraby makes fun of Mike Trout all the time, and I think it's easy for Scraby to sit here with his shoulder surgery and make fun of people. Right. And here's the thing, Scraby's not even here, and I'm taking shots at him, but I'm to the point now where I really would like to see Mike Trout get back and play some baseball. I mean, it's just, enough's enough. Yeah. And I feel bad for the guy, but he won't be coming back anytime this season. So bad news for baseball to lose Mike Trout. All right. Adam's making a lot of hand gestures, and that's throwing me off.
You're not even, neither of you are looking at the screen. Look at what I put on the screen. You guys are taking shots at Scraby.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't look at the screen during the show. So
What
there we go.
screen are you talking about?
Oh, our screen. He just put a picture of the Scraby photo
Okay,
up
I'm
there.
sorry. I don't have a computer in front of me like the rest of you guys do.
He
but-
just put the Scraby just after shoulder surgery photo. You know, the one where his face was all dolled up and he had makeup
You were
on?
making fun of him for the shoulder surgery, so I put the picture up. I was just motioning to look.
He looked pretty high in that photo
Where
right
he got
there,
the,
by
where
the
the
way.
makeup on. All right, thank you, Adam, for that. We were going to get into Jake Cronenworth, but we're at the bottom of the hour. He did sit last night, and there's some people saying, well, he came in. Solano started, and then Jake came in when they took Kershaw out. But with Solano hitting 306 against lefties and Cronenworth hitting 193, there's some talk as to whether or not Mike Shildt should make a switch when lefties are on the mound, and Mike Shildt spoke to that. Let's get that in real quick if we can, Adam. Please, sir.
You know, I was actually talking to Crony earlier today too, you know, and it's like, you know, we're not going to feel the need to do that a lot, but anybody can say, you know, whatever it takes, I want to win, but when you actually have it happen to you and then you have a good attitude about it, that's what speaks volumes, and that's what winning teams do. You know, he came over and stood right beside me yesterday after it happened, and you know, the competitor in him obviously wants the opportunity. So what I'm getting at is, you know, Tanner and Jason and all these guys have been tremendous, and our guys that have been in house with certain roles, you know, with Estrada and Morihone, they pitched down game last night. You know, Suarez, everybody's been fantastic about, you know, greater good mentality, which it's important.
Yeah, Jake, we talked about it yesterday. You know, after he got taken out for the pinch hitter in the bottom of the 10th inning and Solano came up, Cronenworth went right to the top step and cheered on his teammate, which is, you know, what you love to see. But then last night, you know, with Kershaw on the mound, Cronenworth does not get the start. I don't think Mike Shilt's going to do it consistently, Tony.
Right.
Jake Cronenworth is too valuable and too big a part of this ball club. He needs to be in there, quote, every day. And then Mike Shildt has to find a way to get Solano some at-bats, and I think that's the way it'll continue.
Here's the thing to remember. Jake's defense is huge.
Yeah, it is.
Padres' defense is, I wouldn't say it's the best defense out there. I think when you remove Jake, it gets noticeably weaker. That being said, the greater good mentality is going to be challenged, I think, down the stretch. They're going to be games. I don't think it's going to happen often, but they're going to be games that is going to be the direction in which Mike Shildt goes. Now, that's for the regular season. Come the postseason, should the Padres get there, he can look at it a little bit differently. I also think he got to remain, despite those same numbers from Jake Cronenworth, Padres still winning a lot of baseball games. And so how does that affect team chemistry? We like to all believe that everybody, greater good, pushing in the right direction. And Jake is that type of guy, so I don't think it'll be a problem. But you certainly, from a mental standpoint, you got to be careful with that. I said that during the roundtable yesterday. But I think this is where this team is special. I think they genuinely enjoy one another. They genuinely want to win. They got a manager that has poured into them in a positive way. I mean, at times it's frustrated the fan base and some of our guys on our station that he is so positive in public and won't ridicule anybody. And that's by design. And I think that's why these guys play the way they do for him. And so it'll be something we got to keep an eye on as we get down the stretch. I think Jake will get going again. But when you have an option like Solano that's playing well, you're going to use him at times. Those are going to be ways that you can spell Jake and get Solano some ABs, because he's not going to play third base. It's just unless Manny is going to take a day off defensively, which he doesn't really like to. And my guess is the way he's swinging right now, I don't think he's going to want to not be out there in the fashion that he is. I said this during the round table, and I'll continue to say it. Despite how some of y'all may feel about Manny, when he goes, this team goes. It has been that way, honestly, since he's been here.
Yeah, he is the straw that stirs the drink, I believe was Reggie Jackson's terminology on the old Yankees back in the day. All right, Alden Gonzalez from ESPN to talk more Padres, Dodgers, baseball, trade deadline, everything next.
Woo! 2:40 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello. Man, I don't know why I'm struggling today with that. Chris Ello.
Yeah, I was even on a national show the other night. Adam booked me, and they pronounced my name right. I was really, really happy about that. Doesn't happen often.
I'm sorry, your partner's butchering it today.
Yes.
Adam Klug, a special guest today. All right, I got to bring my man Alden Gonzalez, ESPN, on right now. It sounds like he is in the midst of chasing some breaking news, so we'll make it quick. Alden, how are you, my friend? Alden?
Yep.
Oh, he dropped.
All right. Well,
Maybe he's chasing that.
maybe
news
whatever
right
news he had to, he got.
All
Well,
right.
we'll find him.
Yeah.
He's a terrific guy.
Chris, hold it down for me. I'm gonna text Alden real quick, make sure we can
Make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
Padres do have the day off, if you're wondering. And also, if you're wondering, there's no roundtable replay today. There normally is on Thursday, but this week we did the roundtable yesterday because of the trade deadline. So we do have a full 4 hours with you today until 6 o'clock, and we'll get Alden Gonzalez going here. But a little bit later on the program, Adam Klug has agreed to allow me to bring him in as a contestant in a special edition today of the Fantabulous Sports Game Show. So that's coming up in about an hour. I think we're all tired of Tony beating down Scraby in that contest. You're not.
I'm enjoying it very
But
much.
today you're going to have another competitor against you in the Fantabulous Sports Game Show.
I told Adam when we were, kind of when he was getting into my skin earlier that I expected this to be a good matchup, because he actually didn't just start liking sports like Scraby did. He's actually loved sports for quite some time. So I'm expecting a lot out of him today.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, especially if the category is sports. But you guys are just assuming.
I see what you did there. All right. We do have our guest back, Alden Gonzalez, ESPN joins us. Alden, I know you can't be here long because you're chasing some stuff out there. First, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great, guys. How you doing?
We're doing well. You were in town for the short 2-game series. What were your thoughts after watching those 2 games?
Oof. The Dodgers are nowhere near whole right now. They didn't have Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman in that lineup. They didn't have any of the new guys in there. But, that's really no excuse. I think the Padres are just, in a really good groove right now. And, we've talked about this before this season, but I think it's further emphasized now, even with Fernando Tatis Jr. not in there. Just how well-balanced that lineup seems to be. They're a team that, as Clayton Kershaw experienced better than anybody on Wednesday, they're a team with the best contact rate in baseball. They put the ball in play. They're dynamic. And what A.J. Preller did with that bullpen, to add Tanner Scott and Jason Adam into that mix with Roberto Suarez and Adrian Morejon and Jeremiah Estrada. Look, there's some concerns there with the rotation, but if you could shorten games with 5 dominant guys like that, that could put you over the hump in the wild card race, and it might really help you make a deep run into October.
Alden, I almost called him Dylan because we have Dylan Hernandez on
Please
sometimes,
don't do that.
and now I know I can't
Please
do
don't
that.
do that.
That's why I paused, Alden. I apologize for that. I wanted to ask you,
appreciate it.
we only have you for a few, but I wanted to ask you because you talked to Jack Flaherty yesterday, and I read your story online, and Jack Flaherty ended up with the Dodgers. Some of the Padre fans were wondering, and the Padres, Preller said that they weren't really close on Flaherty. Was it, if that's the case, was the Padres package not enough for Jack Flaherty, or is it possible that the Tigers just didn't like what the Padres were offering? Or maybe just the interest level wasn't there, the same as it was for the Dodgers and Yankees?
I think it might have been more the latter. I think, look, the Dodgers came in here with a really clearly stated goal of adding a frontline starting pitcher. And there weren't many frontline available. Tariq Skubal didn't move. Blake Snell didn't move. Garrett Crochet didn't move. So when you were looking into that market, it was Jack Flaherty, and there was Zach Eflin or Yusei Kikuchi, who cost the Astros quite a bit. I think it was a pretty limited market. And I think, look, I don't know that I mean, I actually do know. Like, A.J. Preller has no interest in trading like the Ethan Salases of the world in his farm system. Some of the upper echelon prospects, some of the upper echelon pitching prospects that he traded away are promising. They have high ceilings, but they've taken somewhat steps back this year. You know, I'm talking about Robbie Snelly. I'm talking about Dylan Lesko. I think A.J. was smart in that you guys know this very well, he's always looking for impact-type talent, wherever it is that he could get it. If he has to have a lineup full of shortstops and try to figure it out positionally, he'll do it. And as he showed at this trade deadline, if the impact talent isn't available to him from a starting pitching standpoint, then he'll pivot to the bullpen, even at a time when people thought that maybe the need is not there in the bullpen because he already traded for Jason Adam. He's talked about this a lot, that he feels like that's the type of talent that wins in the playoffs. He said this a lot when he got Juan Soto and Josh Hader, and it's very much still an ethos for him.
Alden Gonzalez joins us here from ESPN. And Alden, we'll get you out of here after a couple more here. A.J. Preller, you just brought him up. He's been the topic of conversation here going into the season. Based on where the year started to where we are now, and I know the full story's not been told yet because ultimately that will have a big part in how the story is told, but from where we were at the beginning of the year to where we are now, what kind of job do you think he's done?
I think he's done a really nice job. I really do. He gets a lot of flack for trading away prospects and kind of mortgaging the future in that way. But I think the Padres front office, and rightly, operates from their belief that they could continually replenish farm systems. And we've seen them do this already. We've seen them do this basically 3 different times. And so whenever other outsiders think that they gave up too much, they're confident that they could continue to develop that pipeline. Now, look, maybe at some point they're not able to, but all we've seen is an ability for them to, at the very least, develop the type of prospects that other teams want, for them to get the pieces that they need. And when you just take a bigger picture look at the Padres this year, they were going to limit their budget. It seemed pretty clear that they wanted to get under the luxury tax threshold. They basically had to trade away Juan Soto. And for him to add the talent that he's added, I mean, look, Jurickson Profar has been a revelation coming over on a $1 million contract and being an all-star.
Yeah.
But Jackson Merrill has been an impact player in center field, a position that he had never played before. To get Luis Arias and Michael King and Dylan Cease, and now to get Tanner Scott and Jason Adam, and keeping that payroll down. Look, you could criticize him for other missteps in the past, but just looking at these last, say, 8-9 months, I don't think you could have expected much more out of A.J. Preller. The Padres look, I mean, maybe from a talent perspective, they're a little bit less than last year, but not by that much.
Alden, a big question around here. The fans are really excited, and you mentioned him because the season that Jackson Merrill has had, I think, has taken everybody a little by surprise, especially playing every day in center field and you know, not only hitting the home runs, 13 home runs and stealing bases and a great OPS for a rookie, but hitting impact home runs and winning games with his home runs. Does he have any chance, though, at a national level to beat out Paul Skeens for Rookie of the Year?
You talking Jackson Merrill? I'm sorry, I missed the
Yes,
beginning
sorry.
of that.
Jackson Merrill, can he beat out Skeens for Rookie of the Year? Yes, sir.
I think Paul Skeens needs to fall off in order for that to happen. For as great as Jackson Merrill's season has been, for as promising as he is, I think just the hype around Paul Skeens is so big.
Yeah.
The type of impact that he's had, the singular impact that he's had in that city. I mean, I think he almost single-handedly made the Padres go for it at the trade deadline in their own way. Like, it's not, they were still pretty conservative in what they did, but they at least took a shot in a year when it seemed like they were going to be taking a step back. I still got to put, people in San Diego are not going to love this, but I still got to put Paul Skeens ahead of somebody like Jackson Merrill and ahead of everybody really, because he's been front and center at that. Not to take anything away from Jackson Merrill, but, you know, he gets to be on a roster where people are counting on the Manny Machados and the Tatises, Luis Ariases, and everybody else. Paul Skeens is at the forefront of this already, and it's just too impressive to overlook.
Alden, as always, man, appreciate you coming on, spending some time with us. Go ahead and chase that news, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks
Take care.
much, Alden.
Alden Gonzalez there, as always.
Clutching up for us.
One of our better guests for sure. In terms of the Jackson Merrill thing, I mean, you would love it to be just based off the merits, and quite frankly, even if it was just based off what they've done on the field, you know, it's Paul. I don't want it to be Paul Skeens, by the way. I want it to be Jackson Merrill, but it's hard to make the argument when every time I turn on the TV and there's a baseball story and Paul Skeens is pitching, he is the first story on SportsCenter, on MLB Network, on any of them. Secondly, he's on the East Coast, and it is what it is. There is a bias, whether it's because the folks who vote on it are asleep by the time Jackson is doing his thing, or whatever it may be. Lastly, nobody had the Pirates doing anything this year, and he's come up, and the Pirates got off to a good start. They got Keller's having a terrific year for them.
Yeah,
they got a bunch of guys playing well, but the impact this dude has come in, and I mean, it's hard to argue it.
Do you weigh position players and pitchers equally? Like, do you give any lean one way or the other?
I do, but I get the sense that voters don't.
Meaning you vote towards the everyday player.
Are you kidding me? He's rolling out there every day. There is no one that convinced me anything as it pertains to an everyday player versus a starting pitcher. And that's not to say clearly starting pitchers have a ton of value, but getting up and doing that every day and going out and performing.
And being consistent and doing it the right way.
That is hard.
Yeah.
And so I think it should be Jackson Merrill. I just don't see how, unless, as he said, Paul Skeens has a fall off. I don't see it.
6-1, 1.90, 0.9 whip. Pretty tough. Started the All-Star game. I thought the other thing that he said there that I hadn't really thought of, Jackson Merrill is allowed to do his thing.
That's right.
In a quieter stage.
Can I say this
because
real
there's
quick?
Manny and all these guys. Paul Skeens is the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes. He's the number one guy.
He's the guy.
He's the number one. And I don't know if you guys remember, beginning of the year, Jackson got off to a great start, and everybody was like, move him to the leadoff spot. Move him to the 3-hole. It's like, no. Let this young man just go about his business. He doesn't need to be a carrier. He just needs to be one of the guys.
Yeah.
At this point in his career, this is his rookie year. Now, 2-3 years from now, maybe we're having a different discussion. But when you got the likes of a Manny Machado, a Fernando Tatis, a Xander Bogaerts, a Luis Ariz, a Jake Cronenworth, he can fall back, and it's okay. And I think he's benefited because of the way Mike Schilt has handled him.
Can I bring up a fairly recent precedent that perhaps Padres fans can hold on to?
Sure.
Is that in 2022, the top two finishers in the NL Rookie of the Year, now granted they're on the same team, was Michael Harris and Spencer Strider. And Spencer Strider was as dominant of a pitcher as we've seen in a long, long time. And Harris, the everyday player, the center fielder, won Rookie of the Year over Strider 2 years ago.
Yeah, but he wasn't as dominant as King. Go look at the numbers.
It's a good try. It's a good try, Braves fan.
He wasn't.
I'm bringing that up because the everyday
it's a good
player,
one.
the center fielder, won over the pitcher.
Yes, and I agree. And when that happened, I was like, "Bravo, voters! You did good." But Paul Skeens, and quite frankly, I know maybe in the ATL he did. The other point is the first point I made with Strider. He didn't get. We weren't waiting on his call up like he was.
And Skeens carries a lot more on his shoulders. I agree with all that.
He does. And I think even though it's about what happens on the field, voters are human beings. They're seeing the same and taking in the same things we all are. And so I think that's why it plays a major factor. Good first hour. Guys, let's go to hour number 2. A little daily gambit. We are not that far away from the big showdown. A little fantabulous. Me versus Klug. Stay tuned. More Gwynn and Chris.
Kicking off hour number 2 of Gwynn and Chris Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr. together in our Odyssey Palace studios. Matt Scraby is idle today, but Adam Klug is filling in. We've got an hour into the books and 3 to go here. Coming up in this 3 o'clock hour, we'll get you a daily gambit. Catch up on the goings-on out at the Olympics today. Team USA women now have a 57-game winning streak in basketball. Although it was a little tougher than I think they planned today against Belgium. We'll talk a little bit about that. Also, in this hour, Adam Klug steps in to take on Tony Gwynn Jr. in a matchup of Chris's Fantabulous Sports game show. Oftentimes on this show, as good as the show that you hear on the radio is, as good as the show you watch on YouTube is, and, let's be honest, it's good. But, if I do say so myself.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike Schilt. But oftentimes, some of the best stuff goes on during the commercial breaks. And in this case, Adam Klug, Tony Gwynn Jr. spent the entire break arguing over whether or not Michael Harris should have won the Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, or Spencer Strider should have won the Rookie of the Year 2 years ago.
I was actually just more
And I thought it was a
arguing-
really good argument that everybody else should get to hear. I was the only one who got to hear it.
Well, he was, in Adam's defense, he was trying to give Padre fans, throw them a bone, basically. Like
That's
this,
right.
Here is what you can believe in, or here's what has happened
Here's a
in the
recent
past
case study.
that can give you some hope. And I was just making the case that it was just different circumstances. And Strider, although he was dominant and he was striking out people at an insane rate, he had over 200 punchies, and he didn't even start a game until May or June, right? He didn't start a game until June.
One start in May.
One start in May. So he obviously was having a good year, but it's just a lot of times.
Paul Skeens is a rock star.
I was just going to
See,
say.
but that's the thing. I felt like Tony kind of poo-pooed Strider's production on the field as a rookie, and I was just saying
I
he
just said
actually
it
was
wasn't as
electric,
impactful.
But I said the narrative surrounding him doesn't match.
That's
up
fine.
with
I just said it wasn't as impactful as I lost his name. As Skeens. And again, it goes right back to the other part. Strider got to hop in a rotation with what's the lefty? Good lefty.
Fried.
Max Fried. I mean, they had a load of guys who pitched. Not to mention they had literally the best offense in all of baseball.
No
so,
doubt.
he also isn't carrying the load in the same way that Jackson hasn't had to carry a load, right? He also had Michael Harris, who ended up being the Rookie of the Year on his team as well. So a lot of help there, just like there's a lot of help for Merrill. I don't think anybody can honestly tell me, more than 2 guys out of that Pittsburgh Pirates lineup, right?
Not too many people can.
O'Neill's one of them.
O'Neill Cruz, you're
O'Neill's
talking
one
about
of-
the
yeah.
shortstop.
Brian Reynolds. Can you give me
And
another one?
They have Rowdy Tellez playing first base.
All right, now you're going to give us the whole
All right,
roster.
go ahead, keep going. Rally
Please.
to Les, what else you
Nick
got?
Gonzalez, I believe, playing
Stop
second
playing.
base.
Okay.
Jared Jones in
Fine.
the rotation.
And this is why I think this Fantabulous sports
Aroldis
show is going to be
Chapman.
it's going to be good. It's
David
gonna-
Bednar.
I said starting lineup is what I said. You gave me 5
naming
though,
some buckos.
which
You
is
gave us a few.
which is pretty good.
You didn't give us Andrew McCutcheon, who was been brought back to Pittsburgh this year. I will say this, for those who want and believe Jackson Merrill should get it over Paul Skeens, Jackson is having an amazing year. 768 OPS, but that is 100 points lower than Michael Harris's OPS 2 years ago when he won the Rookie of the Year over Spencer Strider. I think Jackson, along with what Alden said, Skeens going to have to fall. Jackson Merrill going to have some impact moments the
Which he
last
very
2 months
well
of the
could.
season. He very well could. And
Paul Skeens.
Tuesday, he's going to get his first shot at Paul Skeens because the Padres are going to face Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh this coming Tuesday.
No, I don't think so.
No?
Tony, do you believe
He's
in
Did they
fake-
change
Skeens
it?
is pitching Sunday, so we won't
Wait
see
a
him.
second now. Now I'm going to scramble for my source.
While you scramble, Tony, do you buy into WAR?
Yes, somewhat.
Paul Skeens so far has 3.5 WAR. Jackson Merrill is 2.2.
All right, and you're right, Tony.
Which is a significant gap.
Yeah.
They did move Skeens up to face Arizona on Sunday, so
Yeah.
the Padres are not going to face
They're
them.
keeping him on regular days
Got it.
rest. They have an off day Monday. They could have maybe elected to wait to
Till
pitch him,
Tuesday, but they're
they
not
didn't.
going to.
Yeah,
All right, so the Padres won't see.
Trust me, me and Jesse
Mr.
have been talking
Skeens.
about it for a
Yeah,
little bit. Like
I was kind of looking forward to
wanted
that.
to see that matchup, but Padres will. But that's the thing. They miss him this time. We'll have to. Adam, can you count the games?
1,
When
2,
they face
3.
the Pirates here, will it
Doesn't
line
look
up?
like
Nope.
it doesn't look like they'll face them the next time either.
Man.
Skeens, according to this, will pitch Sunday against Arizona. His next start will be a week from Saturday in L.A. against the Dodgers.
Oh, good.
And then
he'll face them. That's
he'll
even
face
better.
them, and then they'll come to San Diego for 3 right after that, and he won't pitch here.
So let me ask you the question. Would you rather see Skeens in person or prefer to miss him because it's better for the Padres? Right? You'd rather
Well, it
not
really doesn't matter
selfishly-
what we want.
Well,
We're going to
I'm
miss them
asking.
both times.
Selfishly, I'd like to see him. But
I would too.
But, I'm certainly not upset that he's going to have to face the Dodgers.
Doesn't look like,
I-
it doesn't look like Skeens will face the Padres.
I hope
in either series.
I hope Maximus, Freddie Freeman's son, gets healthy. But I hope he's not. I hope he takes a day off that day too. So it make it even better for Skeens.
Yeah, but I don't bemoan the beating of the Dodgers without Mookie Betts or without Freddie Freeman. The Padres don't have Tatis or Joe or you, right?
Should we. Nor should we. So there's that. All right, Chris, back to you, buddy.
All right, thank you guys. Welcome to Gwynn and Klug here filling in today. Scraby's out. And Adam, by the way, when he comes and fills in for Scraby, one of the first things he always tells me is, I don't really, just keep me out of it. I like to, yeah, sure, Adam. Pretty much taking the whole show
Drag
so
him right
far.
on in here. Come on in here,
Dragging him on in here. All right, let's get to some stuff in the Daily Gambit. Get some winners and losers for you.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Well, nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Yes, it's called the Daily Gambit, but we ask that all of you gamble responsibly out there. Just don't gamble at all. Make your picks, have some fun, but save your money. It's not easy to win at that game. We had 7 picks for you last night on the program. Start with the Padres and Dodgers. Padres are favored by 1.5. I had faith in the Friars. Scraby picked the Dodgers. Padres, of course, won 8-1. Over-under was 7 runs last night. I thought with Cease pitching, it would be under. But Kershaw did not hold up his end of the bargain. It went over. The final score was 8-1. I thought this was a really interesting line last night. Dylan Cease's over-under last night for hits allowed was only 3.5. That's like Nolan Ryan territory right there.
I mean, when you've only given up 2 hits in your last 3 starts,
no kidding,
it might provoke that.
And he ended up going under because he only gave up 3 hits.
Yeah.
He did not go over. They only got 3 hits off him last night. Kershaw's over-under for strikeouts was 3.5.
Didn't get there.
We already discussed that earlier. He finished with 0, the first time in his career that has happened to Kershaw, a span of over 420 starts. United States women's basketball team was favored by 23 today over Belgium in the Olympic Games. The Americans won 87-74, much closer game than the 23-point spread would indicate. Belgium was within 6 there in the fourth quarter, so the U.S. had to work for their 57th consecutive Olympic victory. They haven't lost a women's basketball game since 1992. I did notice, though, today, Tony, because I watched some of the game, the U.S. women struggled from the 3-point arc today. Maybe they could have used somebody like, say, Caitlin Clark. Yeah. I was happy to see Dawn Staley, by the way, come out the other day and say, we probably should have selected her if we had to do it all over again.
Yeah.
So 165 was the over-under for that game in points. It went under at 161. And Germany -1 over Japan. Scraby took Germany. I took the land of the rising sun. Germany won it, though. I didn't get the final. I think it was 76-64. So Scraby won that one. I come into today at 6-7. Told you it's tough to pick these games. Tony Gwynn Jr. is 0-0. As we get into our first football game of the year.
Let's go.
The National Football League is not officially, but it's back. Tonight, at long last, the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. The Houston Texans taking on the Chicago Bears, or at least facsimiles of the two teams. Houston is favored by 2.5. Tony, start us off today.
I love this.
Did you analyze this game?
I did.
Did you analyze this
Give
one?
me the Texans.
You're going to take the Texans.
Give me
You're
the
going to give
Texans.
points.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to take the red-hot Matt Eberflus and the Chicago Bears. Over-under for this game is 32.5 points. I bring this up because I think that's a gimme. I'm going to go under, right?
Yeah,
These teams
sure.
can't. No way they can move the football in the Hall of Fame game.
Not with no starters playing.
No.
This is going to
Just
be
run
a
into the
sloppy-
line and tackle the guy.
This is going to be a sloppy game as it typically is.
Should be under. Okay. Into the Major League Baseball tonight. The LA Angels host the Colorado Rockies. Rockies, with a win tonight, could win their second road series of the year. Not going to mention what their first road series win was. The Angels, though, are favored by 1.5 to keep the Rockies from doing that. Tony? I don't have the pitching matchup. It's two guys that...
It's in Colorado?
No, it's here. It's the Rockies are just up the road tonight in Anaheim. And then they'll be bussing down here, I assume.
Rockies is playing decent right now. Give me the Rockies.
The Rockies are playing decent. Okay. You got them. I'll take the Angels because the Rockies haven't won a road series except for... Never mind. Cubs and Cardinals tonight. Shota Imanaga and Sonny Gray. Couple of all-star starters going head-to-head. Both have lines of over-under for 5.5 strikeouts. So I asked tonight, which starter will have more, Imanaga or Gray? I'll go with Imanaga. Although some of the shine has seemed to have gone off him just a little.
Yeah, he started to get hit a little bit.
A little bit. Sonny Gray.
Give me Gray.
He's had a nice season for the Cardinals. I'd like to see the Cubs win that game, though. Germany and France tomorrow. This is men's basketball in the Olympic Games. Germany's favored by 3.5. Tony, again, another game that you've scouted closely, I'm sure.
Give it to me again.
Germany, 3.5 over France. That means Wembayama's the underdog in this game.
Who's Germany? Oh, Germany's got a good squad. Yeah, give me Germany.
You're going to take Germany. All right, I'll take France. I'll take Wemby. And the French side. That's it. Just got 5 today.
Fair enough.
All right, there's your daily gambit. We will step aside. And we'll get you ready for some traffic here. And then some more chat on the Olympic Games. And some of the other goings on in sports. If you just tuned in, Mike Trout is out for the season now. Another meniscus tear for the bad luck. Great center fielder for the L.A. Angels of Anaheim. More Gwynn and Chris coming up.
3:20 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Adam Klug, Matt Scraby out. Where's he at? Iowa?
We shipped him off.
Got him up out of here.
Is this
to
heaven?
Iowa.
Right? That's where it is, Iowa.
Yeah,
right?
the Scraby family reunion is in Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was having a family reunion, that's where I'd pick.
Is Iowa?
Dubuque, to be more
be
specific.
exact.
Yeah. Hey, I got an idea, everybody. Let's meet in Dubuque. So there they go.
Well, the Scrabies are all getting together in Dubuque while we're here in the Odyssey Towers talking some Olympics. I don't know how much of you guys have been able to kind of watch, but
Trying to get into it.
I am too. Today, to this morning, and last night, got into it a little bit. Started to kind of have it playing on all the TVs. My kids are starting to get into it, so that makes it easier because they tend to control the TVs most of the time. So, got a chance to see what's happening. Ledecky continues to her reign in the pool.
Katie Ledecky is a machine.
She's got like 15 of like the top times.
I think she has every top time.
Yeah, that's what I'm
like
saying.
in the history of that event.
Top 15, she has them.
Right,
I think.
the 1500, which is a distance swim. I mean, it
And
takes a while.
And she's like blowing the field away.
Not really
like,
close.
You don't even see anybody in the screen when they have it on her.
Yeah, she's
You just see the
lapping
USA
field.
flag going
along.
and nothing else in the water.
And they put up a thing last night, or a lap by lap, or whatever it was, or every 100 meters. And every 100 meters, or whatever it was, every lap, was like the exact same time. 31.22 seconds, followed by 31.22 seconds, followed by, I mean, it's just clockwork. She said when she was swimming there near the end, she started thinking about all the people that have helped her win all these gold medals. I'm like, really? Your mind was just wandering away?
She's got that kind of time.
You're just
Nobody else is in the
nobody's
picture.
close to you. So she's just wandering away. And I saw a video, Katie Ledecky. I don't know if this is interesting or not. I found it such. She took a glass. I don't know why this had to be chocolate milk. Maybe it was for an ad. She took a glass of chocolate milk, balanced it on the top of her head, and then swam a lap.
Say again. I'm sorry. I was reading.
I know
what Adam just sent me. I'm sorry.
She took a glass of chocolate milk. She balanced it on the top of her head, and then she went into the pool and swam a lap.
Who did?
Katie Ledecky.
With the
chocolate milk not moving.
You saw this?
I did. I don't know if that was impressive or not, but I thought it was worth a mention.
Oh my God! I'm like a drowning child in the pool.
Yes, you are. You won't even go. You won't even stick a toe in the pool.
No, I get in the pool. I said I don't get in the
on the
ocean.
beach. Yeah, you won't go in the ocean.
Nah, that's a mismatch. I'm not interested in.
Right.
That was just part of what the USA is doing. They continue to dominate on the gymnastics side too. Simone Biles back at the top once again, the all-around title, gold medalist.
Yeah, I think you can make a case, for who's the better, greater, Olympian. Is it Katie Ledecky or Simone Biles? Simone wins her second gold medal in 3 Olympics. So that means the last time she won was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in 8 years, in your age and the size of your body changing and everything in your life changing, for her to come back and win another one, she's the first ever to do that. But evidently, this was really, really close, Tony. I don't know about.
She's like Ledecky in this
She normally
sport.
wins easy.
Yeah, this was close.
She can think about all the people that are helped her along the way. But evidently, this was really, really close. So I don't know how the gymnastics scoring works,
Yeah,
but
I
it was
don't
very,
either.
very tight. Her teammate Suni Lee, who won the gold medal in 2020, finished with the bronze this time. I didn't realize this. I was reading the story. Suni Lee was ecstatic to even win the bronze. She has been suffering from kidney disorders, and not just one, but like multiple kidney issues, kidney diseases, career jeopardizing stuff. So she was happy to come in third, but Biles is at the top again. I did see one moment of her floor routine the other night. I want to point this out. She jumped in the air.
I saw this.
She spun so many times, I don't even know what she did.
Yep.
But they stopped the picture when she was at the top of her jump, and they can, do this now, obviously. She was 11 feet, 8 inches off the floor. That's 1 foot, 8 inches above the rim. Right. Like she basically, from the floor exercise, could have just dunked herself.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the floor, it's got some
spongy.
spring. Okay.
It does. No, it's spongy.
I was about to say.
But I'm just saying, if you put a rim up there and she was on the floor exercise, she could probably jump through the hoop.
I can tell you right now, if I was in a facility like that, or if I owned a facility, there would be a hoop at the edge of every corner.
Just so you could do some dunks. Yeah.
You brought up the point about Simone Biles winning her second gold medal in 8 years. Remember, her last Olympics, which was, I believe, in Tokyo, she had with the twisties and had to pull herself out of those competitions.
Oh, that's right.
For those
in
who don't
2020, she didn't compete.
Yes, for those who don't
and
know.
And people gave her a lot of flack.
Yes, they did. They basically said she took a spot and quit. Now, what happened was that, we found out later she was suffering from some mental health issues, but B, she got the twisties, and the twisties is something that only happens in gymnastics, I assume, and it's virtually when you go to do your flips and turns, you lose feel of where you are. So that could be dangerous. There's actually clips of her warming up at Tokyo 4 years ago, and they have the little sponge area you can jump into, right? She couldn't
find that.
She was landing in it and landing on her back, landing on her head, so she had to pull herself out. She didn't think she would be able to compete ever again, and here she is.
It's a great comeback story.
Winning another gold medal. So kudos to her. Chris has already kind of gone over the fact that the women's basketball team able to get a victory today. USA doing well. I think they lead in gold medals. They lead in total medals right now.
Don't know if that's
was it China was ahead at one point, but I thought
China's got the gold medal lead at the moment with 11, USA 9.
Okay,
but we have the overall medal lead, Tony, 37.
Yes, we do.
France, the home country, with 27. France has that amazing swimmer who's breaking all of Phelps's records. They showed a shot of Phelps in the studio with my friend Mike Tirico, and they were watching...
Your guy.
Yeah, they were watching this French swimmer. Marchand is his name. He's already broken a bunch of records in these Olympics. And Phelps was watching this guy swim, breaking his records, and Phelps was going crazy, pumping his fist, jumping up and down. He couldn't contain his excitement.
He wanted him to break
as this guy was breaking his records. I thought that said a lot about Michael Phelps.
For sure. Because I don't know if I'd have felt the same way.
You want to hold on to the records for a little while.
Like, can I have it for another, decade?
But that's just how swimming goes.
Yeah,
they break records every time they're in the pool, these guys and gals.
They're getting faster and faster, no doubt. Looking forward to, I don't know, let's go over to the men's side of things. It's one of the conversations that started to kind of get under my skin a little bit. I have to say, every game, someone doesn't start, and it's like, how can Steve Kerr not put him out there?
Right.
Do we really? I mean, there's like all NBA dudes up and down this roster. Someone is not going to play some days.
They're not playing.
If your name is not Steph Curry, LeBron James, they might be the only two that are
pretty much guaranteed
to play.
Yeah, Tatum didn't even play in one of the games.
And I was listening to some of the pundits like, how can a guy who just won a world title, he got a however many $1 million contract, not play? Well,
I can tell you how he can't play. Steve Kerr doesn't think he guards anybody.
Or the matchup. I mean,
right.
Steve Kerr is one of the smartest coaches in the NBA. He's certainly picking these lineups because of matchup, which is why it's changing all the time. I mean, Embiid will start one day, then he doesn't play at all. It's just, can we let the people who are in the know do their thing? And by the way, they're winning all these games, so it's not like they're losing the South Sudan game that was so close. They rolled them off the court the following game. So let Steve Kerr do his thing, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Steve Kerr has the benefit of having played for both Greg Popovich and Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
If that doesn't make you smart, I don't know what does in the game of basketball. Yeah, I trust him.
Yeah.
He almost can't make the wrong decision.
That's what I'm saying.
So he's just letting everybody have a piece of it. But, I still think they're going to get challenged a little bit. This tournament's
sure.
still got some good teams in
For
there.
sure.
So, we'll watch.
I saw a little posting about how many NBA guys were in the Olympics for the first Dream Team. I think it was like 0. Now there's like
on the other teams.
On the other teams,
yeah.
Right? And there's like, I think it was 66 or something like that in the Olympics outside of the
66 now.
Yeah. So
the Dream Team opened it all up for the whole world.
They did.
Didn't they?
We watched the documentary. You saw the other players like coming over, like getting
autographs. Yeah.
wanting to take pictures. They weren't interested in necessarily
competing with them.
Right.
They were so excited. But do you think, Tony, going back 30 years now, do you think the Dream Team at its height could wipe the floor with this team? Or would it be the other way? Are these guys so much better athletically, and now that even Jordan and Bird and Magic couldn't keep up with them?
I don't
How would it go?
necessarily believe that they're more. I don't believe that they're more athletic than those guys. I do think skill-wise, they're a little more
There's
advanced.
another level, isn't there?
There's a little
the
more
shooting.
advanced. That being said, I still think it would be a close game. I don't think either team would blow each other out. I think the shooting would put the 92 team in a bind.
It's just hard for me to believe that a team with Jordan and Magic or Bird could lose. But I know
that's
these guys
true.
are a
That's
lot
true.
better.
That's true.
If you're comparing them to this current team, LeBron James and Steph Curry are not at the height of their powers.
That's true too.
Pretty much everyone on the 92 team was like,
How
in
about
their
how about the
prime.
Redeem team? Because that had LeBron and all those guys in their prime. Steph wasn't on that team, but Kobe was there.
I don't see anyone
You think-
beating the 92 team.
The 92
with
team.
all of them in their
I'm not
prime.
gonna. I'm not gonna argue against it. Those dudes were legit. I will say this. You go back to those clips. You hear a lot of the stories from. I think it was the young guys. It was like Chris Webber and Anthony Hardaway. Before that famous game that they had against one another, where Jordan officially took the baton away from Magic. They got their butts kicked by the young group that was down there. And I think it was like Shaq, Chris Webber, Anthony Hardaway.
Bobby Hurley?
Not Bobby.
He was on the practice
I
squad.
think, Bobby Hurley might have been on that squad. I think you're right. And that's what the story goes.
That's what you
that
got to
they-
contend with in this fantabulous game show coming up here.
I said it was going to be a good matchup, so we're going to find out here shortly. All right, let's get to break. Is the Fantabulous next?
Next.
Woo-hoo. Get your popcorn ready, ladies and gentlemen. More Gwynn and Chris on the way. Why is it so hot in this bitch? Oh, I'm so happy.
Off days in 1 week.
They got another one Monday.
2 more next week or 1?
Just one Monday.
No
Breakfast baseball, as Jesse calls it. That's our last off day for the month, too. Thursday, right?
No roundtable next week.
Shield talking about Cronenworth was actually in response to a question about Tanner Scott and his mentality, because he'd already spoken about the non-save thing, and Scanlon asked him about his mentality, like, that's what you look for a guy, right? And Scanlon basically pivoted and brought it to Jay.
Boy, like you want me to.
Shut up on you, Jim. Said it's a good talking point. I'm not scraping you, so everything I bring up is how I feel. I think it's worth discussing. I think it's worth discussing.
I think it is worth it. I think it is a discussion point, but I definitely think you got some feels.
I've always told everyone I've worked with, my job is not to say what your opinion is. It's to tell you what you should have an opinion about.
Klug, turn off the laptop. Hold on, let me turn my mic on.
Yeah, and then make sure you turn it off because Adam Klug's not going to do it for you.
Apparently so.
Apparently not.
If you build it, they will come. Apparently that's what Scraby fell for. And
going to Iowa. Scraby's in
funny.
Iowa. We're getting along without him today. We got a fantabulous sports game show coming up, but I may have to rename the game today, guys. As for the first time ever, Tony Gwynn Jr. takes on Adam Klug. Let's check traffic and then get to it.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Headaches for you on southbound 805. Accident did clear up near the 52, but we've still got this other crash up ahead past El Cajon Boulevard. Several vehicles, including a motorcycle, involved. That has got middle lanes blocked. Up ahead before Imperial, another accident. This one's over to the right shoulder. A couple vehicles involved. Northbound 15 before Rancho Bernardo Road. Some wood debris in the 3 left lanes. And Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a collision on eastbound 56 before the 15. That's got the slow lane blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
There is an open for the Fantabulous Sports Game Show, but we'll go without it today.
Hey, all you beautiful people out there, it's time to play one of our favorite games of the week.
All right!
We like to call it...
Ooh, I'm gonna go.
Chris's Fantabulous Sports Game Show! And it starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're not going to go without the open because there it was.
I thought you were going to call for it.
Oh, no. He usually plays it right out of the traffic. But no worries. No worries. We got along just fine. Today's Fantabulous Sports Game Show should be renamed. Just going to call it the Fantabulous Game Show today.
There's your hint.
Adam Klug and Tony Gwynn Jr. have been at each other since maybe a half an hour before the show even started today, discussing who was going to come out looking smarter in the world of sports as a result of today's Fantabulous Sports Game Show. Unfortunately for both of them, they're not going to find out because today's Fantabulous Game Show does not have a sports category.
Oh.
Guys, sit back, close your eyes, and imagine a map of the United States of America. Because today's category is to name the 24 states that are situated west of the Mississippi River.
All right.
That is today's category. There are 24 correct answers. States that are west of the Mississippi River. Now,
that's to the right, right?
Oh, brother.
Trying to throw him off.
Trying to throw him off.
He's trying to slough right now.
He is. Because this is a category where conceivably you guys could run the table. If it finishes 12-12, we do have a tiebreaker category for you. But we'll start off with this. Name the 24 states that are west of the Mississippi. You can play along out there.
Okay.
This may be a little harder, Mike Schilt, than you think. We will see. Should we just let Adam go first since he's the guest today, Tony?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right, Adam?
I don't want your charity.
Well,
you're getting
Scraby gets to go all the time first.
Scraby always goes first. It doesn't seem to help him
charity.
any. All right, Adam Klug, you're a smart guy. Give me a state west of the Mississippi. This is going to be easy at the beginning, of course.
The great state of California.
California? All right, very good. Tony, you're up.
How about Idaho?
Of all the states you started with, that wasn't the one I was expecting.
Neither did I.
But Idaho is correct. All right, Adam, one apiece.
Stick in the Pacific Northwest and go with Washington.
Washington. All right, very good. Adam has 2. Tony has 1. Tony?
How about Oregon?
Oregon.
I turned down the chat, too, so I'm not looking at any
Oh,
suggestions.
that's a good idea.
right. Good
Yeah,
point.
because the people in the chat will
Oregon?
we'll try to help you out. Oregon is correct.
We'll go with Nevada.
2-2, Nevada. You guys are. I see what you're trying
This
to
is
do.
not going to go. This is going to go pretty quickly, right?
It's going to go quickly until
we
the end.
start
I have a
getting
feeling.
close to that Mississippi.
All right, 3-2 for Adam.
How
Tony.
about we go southwest? How about Arizona?
Arizona, very good.
Do we need to flex a little bit and go Texas?
You can. Did you just? Is
A
that
little
your
bit
answer?
more eastern.
Is that your answer?
I'll go with Tejas.
Texas. All right. So Adam's got 4. Tony's got 3. The game is
I'll
moving along
I'll play
quickly.
this game with you. How about Oklahoma?
Oklahoma is west of the Mississippi. That is correct. These guys are trying to name all 24 states that are west of the Mississippi. They have named 8. There are 16 correct answers remaining. No strikes. 4-4. Adam.
The state where the newest NHL team resides, and they totally messed up the name of their team, Utah.
The Utah Hockey Club.
Should have been the Yetis.
The Utah Hockey Club, at least for now.
Yes.
They might eventually change it to the Yetis. Utah's correct. 5-4. Tony, you're up.
Not Mexico, but New Mexico.
It is New Mexico.
Not to be confused with Old Mexico.
Or Old Mexico.
Yeah, not to be confused with that. New Mexico's correct. 5-5. 10 down, 14 to go. Guys are doing well.
How about Colorado?
Colorado. Okay, very good. You guys are doing really good. You're going much faster than I expected, anticipated.
I'm disappointed with the question. Can I say that?
No.
He wanted it to be sports so
I know
bad.
he did, but it can't always be sports.
Yeah.
What can I tell you?
You'll never know if I would have dominated you or not. How about
It's always tomorrow.
Wyoming?
Wyoming, that is west of the Mississippi. You guys doing a good job picturing the
right?
the nation's the state's layout here so far. It is 6-6. Adam, we're halfway through.
Let's go with Kansas.
Kansas, okay.
Very nice.
Adam, you're having no problem with this. You're just toying with this category.
There's a chance I know geography better than sports.
There is. There's a great chance.
We may find that out.
How about where my man Scrabe is right now? A little Iowa.
Scrabe is in Iowa. That is correct. You guys are just
Can we
racing
just
through.
Take a break, a little time out. How many correct answers are left?
Yeah, I can tell you. It's right now. It's 7 to 7,
North Dakota.
which is 14. So there's 10 left.
North Dakota.
North Dakota, there's 9 left. That's right.
I'll take
strikes.
South Dakota then.
South Dakota, winner. There are 8 left.
This is
You guys are going to ever slow down here?
Dicey.
I'm considering taking a little risk here.
Uh-oh. Go ahead then.
How about the great state of Louisiana?
Louisiana. That's close to the Mississippi, but it is west of the Mississippi. That is correct. Very good. You touched the Mississippi with that answer.
Go for a
I
touch
think I
there?
might go a little touch here. How about Missouri?
Missouri, that also touches the Mississippi. That is correct. So it is 3, 6, 8, 8. No, is that right? 2, 4, 6, 9, 9. 18 down, 6 to go. States that are west of the Mississippi. Adam Klug, no strikes yet. You guys are acing your geography test.
I'm about to open a can and break the
What you about to break?
Are we
now?
going continental U.S.?
Are you opening a can of whip?
No,
whatever.
No, a can of worms.
Oh, I know what you're
The answer, the category
Alaska.
is the 24 states west of the Mississippi.
Alaska
qualifies. That is correct. Tony, your turn.
How about Hawaii?
I thought you might do that.
See, there we go.
10-10, only 4 remaining. Does it get dicey here?
Woo!
You guys got it.
Dicey.
There's only 4 left, and to me, the hard part of this is, knowing which 4 you haven't named.
I don't even know.
But
Let's
see
go
how you
with.
do. 4 left. Adam Klug,
Let's go Illinois.
Illinois. That is a strike, my friend. Strike one. No, you don't get a bell for that. You get a buzzer for that. Illinois is east of the Mississippi. So we have our first hiccup of the game. It is 9-9. Now Tony Gwynn Jr. has a chance to take his first lead. 24 states west of the Mississippi, but there are only 4 remaining in this category. And you guys have raced through the first 20. But now, maybe it finally gets a little interesting
How
here.
about Minnesota?
Ooh,
Tony
good one.
Gwynn Jr., correct. Minnesota does touch the Mississippi, but that is on the western side of things. So Tony takes his first lead, 10-9.
I'll
Adam,
stay up there in that same region, and I'll go with Michigan.
you go with Michigan. Tony's waving it off to the right.
Is Carlton Fisking it?
Strike 2.
Oh!
I got to tell you, Adam Klug, Michigan isn't even within touching
Not even
distance of the
close.
Mississippi. It's way over there.
Closer to Massachusetts.
Yeah, no good. That's 2 strikes for you, Adam
I'm in
Klug.
big
You're
trouble
in big
here.
trouble now. Tony Gwynn Jr. looking to kind of seize the
I
savage
got it
ground
on me.
here.
How about Ohio?
Ohio. Wow. I got to buzz that one as well. Ohio is east of Michigan, so
All right,
that's
so
even
I got a lot of pressure
further
on me right
away.
here, though,
I
right?
think I got another one.
Tony, there are, let me see, still
2
4
left, right?
questions. No, still 3 left.
3 left.
3 correct answers left. Adam has 2
so if
strikes.
I miss this one, I'm out.
Yes, that's the rules
Tony
of the
doesn't
game.
even have to
I
keep
don't have to
going.
guess.
Tony
So go
wouldn't have
ahead.
to get one. You
Help
need to
me.
get one of the 3 remaining west of the Mississippi,
All right,
Adam, to
here
stay
we go.
alive.
To stay alive,
Yes.
Arkansas.
Arkansas. That is so far in the southeast, but it is west of the Mississippi. Arkansas is correct. Very good. I thought when I looked at this that Arkansas would be the single hardest one to get. But you got it. You stayed alive.
And Tony has only one wrong, so he can miss this and still put the pressure on me.
Yeah, I
That's
can.
right. But
I'm
I'm
gonna try not to miss this one though.
All right, Tony, if you got
How
2
many-
left.
There's 2 left?
Only 2 states left. Tony and Adam are tied at 11-11,
mind, I
but
hope you don't
Adam
take
has
it.
2 strikes. Tony has
I
1.
just can't think if we were driving east or west.
Oh, well, take your time. We got a little time left here.
Arkansas is a little intimidating.
That one
Arkansas intimidated me,
that's
man.
That's a strong one right there,
That
player.
was a strong one. All right,
Let's
Tony.
go. Here we
What
go.
are you going with?
How about the great state
The great state.
of Indiana?
That was gonna be my next
Indiana.
one.
That was going to be your next one. Well, it's a good thing Tony took it because it is not correct. Indiana is east of the Mississippi. All right, now what I'm going to do, because I really like the tiebreaker category.
We got to go to break right here, right?
No, we don't.
No, we gotta go to break.
You guys are dead even again. 11-11 with 2 correct answers left. You both have to guess. If you both miss, then we go to the tiebreaker.
I think that's fair.
And if you both get one, then we go to the tiebreaker. That's the way we're going to work it. It's 11-11. The only way somebody's going to win without the tiebreaker is if one of you get it right and one get it wrong. There are 2 states left that are west of the Mississippi that you haven't thought of yet. Adam, to really put the pressure on, can you get it?
I can't remember if this one's been guessed or not, but I'm going to go with it.
Okay.
Wyoming?
Wyoming is
Great.
most certainly west of the
guessed it,
Mississippi,
it's
but
already been guessed.
it has already been guessed. So that is
Do I get
not
to go
correct.
again? Can I give another one?
No.
No, you cannot give
All right,
another
Tony,
one.
Tony wins the game here if he
Should've
comes
gone
up
with
with
just
one of the
California
remaining
again.
2. If not, we go to the tiebreaker. Tony, for the win, there are 2 correct answers left. You guys raced through the first 20, but you really hit the stop sign here. 2 states left west of the Mississippi. Tony's
Tony's giving me a really look like he absolutely
Tony's
knows
excited. He may have it. Go for
I
it.
don't think it's been guessed yet.
Well, let's find out.
Illinois.
Illinois.
this. Has it absolutely been
It
guessed?
has absolutely been guessed,
Dang.
and it's wrong. So you doubled up there.
Can I, before we go to the tiebreaker, can I say what I was going to say?
What you wanted to say?
Wisconsin?
Also east of the Mississippi.
Oh, it's east.
Yeah. The 2 that you did not name are clearly in the West. You just didn't think of them. Montana and Nebraska. Those are the 2 that you did not think of.
I was thinking up there. I thought Montana was said.
No, I said Idaho.
Yep.
I said
And that's
Wyoming.
when I went to Wyoming.
But I didn't
I was
say
going up there when I.
Montana.
Montana and Nebraska were the 2 you did not name. So you tie 11-11, 3 strikes apiece. We're going to go to a tiebreaker, but I think that may take just a tad longer than the 1 minute we have left. Not much longer, but we'll give you guys a chance to.
We got 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna stretch it out. I want the drama to build a little bit. We are tied in the Fantabulous Game Show. Now, do you still want to complain about the category, sir?
Yeah,
Because it's kind of turned into a fun showdown.
I wanted to match sports with.
He thought you might be dominated, so he gave you a shot.
There's a slight chance somebody in
Gave
this
you a
room
shot.
told me I had a lot to learn about baseball before the show started.
Yeah, you did.
Well,
When you were
I
saying,
have a
when you were
feeling-
saying Clayton Kershaw's record was just, eh.
That's
I
right.
didn't say his record was mad.
Adam, you will get another chance, I'm sure someday. And the next time you sit in, I will make sure it's a sports category. All right, so you have that. But I will tell you guys this: you don't know what you're thinking of, but it is going to stay geographic in the final tiebreaker to decide today's Fantabulous Game Show. It'll be a geography category, so we'll see how you do. Coming up at the top of the hour is a battle of Chris versus the fans. You guys can start dialing in at 833-288-0973. These guys will finish the Fantabulous Game Show, and then we will get to some Chris versus the fans. So that is coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, along with the Big Five. And I'm stretching.
He's wishing he went with the tiebreaker right about now.
No, because 2.5 minutes would not have been
we
enough.
would have been him and Han.
2.5 minutes would not have been enough. So I need to give you a little extra time for the tiebreaker. What time do we normally go to break?
There it is.
Now
right
we go. Thank goodness. I was like dragging. All right, 4 o'clock hour should be fun. It'll start with a tiebreaker to decide the Fantabulous Game Show and Chris versus the Fans. Next on Gwynn and Chris.
The 4 o'clock hour is here.
You gonna blame that on me too?
No, that was me. I've realized I can't depend on you for that anymore, and I knew better going into that segment. Welcome in, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Adam Klug on the ones and twos today. We have our Chris versus the fan segment. And Chris, how's this game been going? You've been racking up wins. You've been taking it on the chin. How's it going?
I took it on the chin until the last game. I think
okay.
the last one I
got loose
performed a little bit better. But fans are going to have to wait a second because we have to decide the Fantabulous game
that's
show.
Right. All right.
Before we move on.
Well, let's get back to that.
Dodging me like Paul Skeen's dodging the Padres.
These two guys spent the entire break trying to figure out what the category is going to be for the tiebreaker. They didn't figure it out.
Well, you said it's geography still,
It is geography related. The first part of the game was to name the 24 states west of the Mississippi. These guys thought they had it. They got 20 of them right away, and then they ran into some problems.
I can't believe I forgot.
Tony got Minnesota. Adam answered with Arkansas.
That was a strong one right there.
That was a strong one.
I got to give props to Arkansas.
They both then got 3 strikes. They left out Montana and Nebraska. So that has forced a tiebreaker. Now,
before you go to the tiebreaker, I just want to get a little psychological experiment. I want to get inside your head. How in the world do you come up with this question about naming the states west of the Mississippi?
I will tell you here in a moment.
Okay.
I'll tell you exactly how this happened in a moment. But before we get to the tiebreaker, I'm going to have to roll the die to determine who goes first. Because there's only 7 correct answers in the tiebreak. There will be a bit of a time limit. Now, I'm not going to keep it an official time limit, but you only have a certain amount of time to come up with your answers. So who goes first may have an advantage. Here it is. 1, 2, or 3. Adam will go first. 4, 5, or 6. Tony will go first.
Wait, what?
On the die.
Oh, okay.
And it's a 6. So, Tony, you go first.
Let's do it.
You'll get that advantage.
Let's do it.
Here's the category in the tiebreaker. I was watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire last night, and they asked a question that made me think of the tiebreak category for you guys.
Okay.
Their question was, how many states have only one single word in their name? California, Arkansas, Arizona, one word, names.
So that's not your question.
That's not my question.
Of course not.
The answer to that was 40. So on the flip side of that, this is how my mind works, guys. There are 10 states that have 2 names. 3 of them are west of the Mississippi. You already named them. New Mexico, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Your job in the tiebreaker is to name the 7 states east of the Mississippi that are 2-name states, 2-word states.
Okay.
All right?
Ready?
Tony, you're first. Go for it.
New York!
New York is 1. Tony gets 1.
North Carolina.
North Carolina is 2.
I knew you were going to go back down that way. How about New Hampshire?
New Hampshire.
Had that one in my back pocket for later.
Correct.
But
Adam.
I'm surprised you didn't jump on South Carolina.
South Carolina. All right, there's 3 left.
I could have.
3 left.
You guys going to race through them? Then Tony's going to win, but we'll see if there's a roadblock.
How does the strike system work here?
It's first 1 to 4.
Okay.
First 1 to 4.
Got to get 4 of them. There's 7 correct. First to 4. No strike system. If you miss one, the other guy just gets a turn.
How about West Virginia?
Good job, Tony.
Thank you.
All right, 2 left.
Thank you very much.
Adam, you need 1 to put the heat on him.
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. There's 1 left. Tony, you name it, you win it. You don't name it, Adam will get a chance to win it. 1 state left, 2 names east of the Mississippi.
He's already flexing on me right now.
You know it is what you're trying to put. You're trying to put the pressure on him as. Okay, you look silly. Honestly, I understand what you're doing, but I'm just trying to say you're on the chat. People can see this on YouTube.
Said you look silly.
You looked a little silly. All right, Tony, I'm going to give you.
You very well might have me here.
Got to name the final state that is 2 names. It's east of the Mississippi. If you get it, you win. I'm not putting an official time on you, but like 30 seconds I think is fair.
New York, New Hampshire, West Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina. How much time do I have left?
I don't know. I'm trying to find a stopwatch here, but I can't find one. Here it is. Stopwatch. Go. You got 29 seconds.
Okay.
Adam, you think you know, or you just kind of claiming to know?
No, I know.
You know.
Is it Washington, D.C.?
That would not be a state, my friend.
Yeah, it's not a state, but I'm going to give you 9 more seconds. Oh, Adam's buzzing.
He can buzz me. I'm good. I got no more guesses.
He doesn't have it.
I've
All
drawn
right,
a blank.
Adam Klug to finish off as the geography champion of the day.
It's a state I used to live in.
Oh, that's why you know
that
it.
helps you.
It's referred to as the armpit of the United States.
Yes,
that would
it
be
is.
New Jersey.
New Jersey for the win, Adam Klug.
Gosh,
You
Tony.
win today's fantabulous game show by
Congrats, Adam.
outlasting
Well
Tony
done.
Gwynn Jr. in a matchup.
I still would have dominated if it was sports. I just want to say that.
I just want you guys to know that at 3:48 p.m., which is now 24 minutes ago or so, Ben Higgins texted me, Montana and Nebraska are all that's left, I believe. Ben Higgins said, I would have destroyed that category. Ben was chiming
I have no
in.
doubt Ben would have crushed us on that one.
Ben was chiming in. All right, congratulations, Adam. Do you want to play your celebration song? If you can find it in there, you're welcome. You're more
Very
than
welcome to dance, too, when
now
it comes on.
you can dance. You get to dance. Not bad. Not bad.
Love it.
All right, very good, Adam. All right, that was the Fantabulous Game Show today. Normally it's sports related, as you know, but I only have so many sports
Nice work,
categories. Come up with
Adam.
about 1,000
Good
of them.
That was
work
fun.
there.
And
That
Chris
was good.
right. We couldn't have done that in the last 2.5 minutes.
No, we can't now.
No, it was good contest. We will go now to some more trivia, this time with you out there getting a chance to win a trip to Las Vegas.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy, he's dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, a lot at stake today. Sorry.
I was going to say, are you going to read the blurb?
Sure.
Have at it.
You'll be qualified for the trip to Las Vegas, 2-night stay, dinner for 2 at the Rio, day bed at the Rio pool. The Rio Las Vegas is back. They got new ownership, newly remodeled rooms, 4 sparkling new pools, brand new food hall. It's all ready for you. Beyond the expected, beyond this trip, beyond your wildest dreams, the Rio Las Vegas is the rhythm of Vegas. Book now at riolasvegas.com. Also today, special edition. You will qualify for the trip to Vegas, but you will actually win a 4-pack of tickets to the Major League Rugby Championship match, which is being played here in town at Snapdragon Stadium this Sunday. I understand Tony Gwynn Jr. is now a big rugby fan after he watched one Olympic match. Considers himself an expert.
I don't know about that, but I can follow. I
You
can definitely
enjoyed.
follow.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
The championship at Snapdragon Stadium this Sunday also features a performance by Marshmello. Tickets are on sale now at sdlegion.com. Unfortunately, the Legion, I don't believe, are in the championship. They missed out by 1 point in the semifinals, but you rugby fans will have a chance to go see that. Rules of the game? Want me to give them, Adam? You don't. He doesn't write them out anymore.
I'm happy.
does he? You want to do the rules?
I've got it memorized.
All right, go for it.
Go ahead then, player.
We will start with 3 questions. Each one gets progressively more difficult. If you get it right, you go on to the next round. If you get it wrong, Chris will get a chance to answer the question. If he gets it right, you are eliminated. We go to the next caller. If he gets it wrong, you advance to the next round, and you got to get through 3 rounds to be today's qualifier.
What about if you're a first-time
player? You get a
the
free
first
answer on
question
the
for
first
free.
question. You get to advance to round 2.
Very good. All right.
You have to bring the contestants
Bring
on
a
'cause
contestant
I
on.
can't see them.
Adam, I think it's kind of fun having you in here today. You won't have any preconceived notions
On the
about
callers.
You know what? I'll roll a die.
Already brought up Caesar.
Oh, you already brought up
Caesar's here.
Caesar? Okay, good. Caesar, how are
Caesar,
you?
what's going on, brother?
Good afternoon, guys. How you doing?
We're
Good to
doing
have you
well.
on, Caesar.
Here
Good
we
luck
go.
to you.
First question. Name both Team USA flag bearers to open the Olympics.
LeBron James and I didn't hear the second one, but I'm going to guess Ledecky.
Katie Ledecky is his guess. It was the tennis star Coco Gauff, along with LeBron James. Sorry about that, Cesar. Next, do you want to just go down the board, Adam? Is that what you want to do, or do you want me to roll the die?
Sure, let's do that. We got Eric.
Eric, you're next. Hi, Eric.
What's up, Eric?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Very
Well,
good.
Here we go. First question.
Good.
Who scored the game-winning run for the Padres Tuesday night over the Dodgers?
Scored. The winning
Tuesday
run.
night, fantastic walk-off, Ha-Sung Kim.
Look at you. Nice work.
By the way, I was a little concerned, just a tad. Of all the people I would choose to have as my ghost runner, I would not choose Ha-Sung Kim.
They didn't have a choice.
Because of his base running skills.
Yeah, they didn't have a choice.
No, I know they didn't have a choice, but he made it around safely.
He did.
I was
he got
happy.
there.
Yeah.
I know you kind of worry about that from time
Yes,
to
I
time.
do.
All right, question number 2. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 names, and you give me a team.
That they all played on together.
LaShawn Shady McCoy, Tyrod Taylor, Reggie Bush.
LaShawn McCoy, Tyrod Taylor, and Reggie Bush.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a good one. Sounds like.
Wow. Let me see. I'm trying to think about McCoy, where he went.
I know. That's a tough.
I'm going to say, it ain't right, but I'm going to say Kansas City.
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Hello?
Yes. Reggie Bush, Tyrod Taylor, and LaShawn McCoy.
Word.
Yeah. I remember LaShawn McCoy with Philadelphia and Buffalo. That's it. And I don't remember Reggie Bush with either of those teams. Tyrod Taylor's been with every team, so I don't know. Buffalo.
It goes Buffalo.
Go Buffalo.
That's it.
I got it. Reggie Bush played with Buffalo?
Last team, I believe.
Really?
was
I didn't
Buffalo.
remember that. Did not
I think
remember
he got
that.
hurt in a, I think that whole lawsuit at whatever one of the stadium. I think it was St. Louis's at the time. I'm not remember, but
Oh, yes, when he
like,
got
ran
tackled
into-
out of bounds.
Yeah.
I do remember that, but I didn't remember him ever being with Buffalo. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Eric, I lucked out. Next up is...
Let's go with Robert.
All right, Robert.
welcome to the show, Rob.
Hi, Robert. Good to have you on, as always.
Hi, guys.
Here we go. Question number 1. Who leads baseball in stolen bases right now?
Ellie De La Cruz?
Ellie De La Cruz is correct.
He's got a lot of them.
It's 40 plus. Question.
He's got 50 plus.
Does he have 50 now?
I think so.
He must have got on a heater here soon.
He's
recently.
up over 50.
That's crazy. All right, here we go. Question number 2. What team did San Diego State play when Snapdragon Stadium officially opened?
Colorado State?
The Rams.
I do remember that day. It was the hottest day in the history of San Diego.
Can we go ahead? Get your answer first.
Arizona was the opponent.
Arizona was the opponent.
Yeah, sorry about that, Robert.
I mean, I thought we were going to have to tear the stadium down and rebuild it
Like
up.
that,
like
that one
night.
day.
Yeah,
it was the hottest day I've ever been around.
was-
I think anybody's ever been around in San Diego.
I think in the moment it felt like a catastrophe was happening.
Yeah.
And then like a week later we realized, all right, maybe we kind of overshot this.
But
a
I do
little bit.
remember everybody. We should have put a dome on the stadium. Should have been
I
sprinklers.
feel like there was articles written because
Poor
of
San
that
Diego
day.
State too. They handed out water to everybody, and they took nothing but crap. And it was the weather. They didn't do anything
It was one of the hottest days out here.
ever. The Aztecs took such a beating for that.
Ellie De La Cruz, by the way, 55 stolen bases, 10 caught stealing. So he's running a lot.
Good for him.
That is a
man.
lot.
I love that.
Well, you know, the year Ricky stole 130, he got caught 42 times.
Yeah.
So
Just keep going.
It's part of the deal with stealing bases.
Who's our next
Let's go with
contestant?
Mark.
Mark, welcome to the show.
Mark.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's good to talk to you,
my
Mark.
man. Here we go. First question. And this one broke my heart. I'm not even going to lie. Recently retired Rashad Penny played the majority of his career with what team?
Aztec for life.
Let's go with the Eagles.
The Eagles.
The Eagles.
By
Hello?
Mark.
Seattle.
Seattle is correct.
You dinged me
A
before
little
I
quick on the
guessed.
trigger.
Yeah,
Thank
sorry. It's
Come on,
correct.
we all knew Chris was getting that one.
Yeah, that was sad, man. Rashad Penny hung it up.
I know.
over
He
the
never really
weekend.
got to get back to health.
I assume he got into camp and he wasn't right, and that's usually.
It also
how guys-
shows the level you have to be at, because I think he was still in pretty good shape. It wasn't like he had a broken leg.
Yeah.
But if you're just not at 150% efficiency, you can't compete at that level.
It's too
So-
hard. All right, we probably need to go to a tiebreaker because it's 4:16 and we are.
All right,
beyond our
tiebreaker.
time.
We need a tiebreaker person for Adam to look up.
Adam, our tiebreaker person
Yes, you want to think of one, Tony?
of the D. I got you on this one.
Okay.
Mickey Morandini.
Mickey Morandini. I love it. That's what I love about the tiebreaker. It's just some guy's name that you haven't thought of in 15 years pops up.
So you get to pick the category from there.
Yeah. Find Mickey Morandini in the.
I have Mickey Morandini's baseball reference up.
All right. So you can come up with
Let's see.
give us a contestant.
We were just talking about stolen bases with Ellie De La Cruz.
Okay.
All right.
We need a contestant for that.
Let's go with Rod.
Hi, Rod. How are you?
Hey, guys. Great to be on the show. Adam, thank you. And quick shout out to the chat fam. And let's get this tiebreaker going.
Fair enough. I'm sure you know how the tiebreaker works at this point. So, Adam,
Go ahead.
I'm just spitting out a number, correct?
No, you're spitting out a question.
question.
I'm answering with
I'm
a
saying,
number.
We're going over under stolen bases.
Okay.
I'm just throwing a number out, correct?
No, you're not.
You're not throwing a number.
You're just
out.
saying
Oh,
how many
caller
career
will.
stolen bases did he have?
Right.
And then Chris
I'm
will-
answering.
Right.
And then Rod says higher
That's
or
right.
lower.
All
Is
right.
that the question?
How many career stolen
All right.
bases
Did
Mickey
Morandini have? Very good.
And
how
you are
many?
allowed to give him the years.
How many years did he
played
play?
11 seasons.
Really? Mickey Morandini, nice. 200 stolen bases. I think, no, that's way too many. He didn't have 220 per year. 125.
Let's hear the guess.
125. Rod, what do you think? Is the actual answer higher or lower than that?
That's a good number, Elo. You put me in the low range right there because he wasn't really a fast runner, so I'm just gonna say low.
He's going to say under. He got it. All right, Rod. How many did he
He's
have?
so close. Unbelievable. 123 career.
That's crazy. He does that all the time.
Didn't miss by much.
That's nuts. Well,
Oh,
congratulations. Hang on the line, Adam. Get the information here. That was pretty good, man. Pretty close.
Very good.
All right, let's get to break. On the other side, more Gwynn and Chris. Here's some traffic.
From the 97th.
I love fencing, by the way. This game is awesome.
I knew the rules. My kids are asking.
I don't mind it. I just can't tell what's happening.
No, they gotta stab him once. You get the stab.
it, one
you get
stab
the,
and
so,
that's how you
so as
use
the
it,
person
okay?
gets clutched,
That's ball game?
that's the end of that particular.
But can they
time.
not go a certain way forward, and that's why there's the
4:26 is the time. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr. together in our Odyssey Palace studios. I should mention that tomorrow on the program it's Fire Friday. And if I'm not mistaken, our guest tomorrow will be Jackson Merrill.
The young prince.
Yes.
Coming to the show tomorrow.
He'll be making his first appearance on Gwynn and Chris. So it has been a legendary season already, only to be topped off by an appearance on this show tomorrow.
I must say, off
for
subject,
Jackson.
here, I'm actually happy that I'm been on pretty good behavior in between segments. We've had a few hot mic issues.
Yes, we haven't.
Thankfully, I haven't, used any foul language.
Said anything you shouldn't have.
Say anything I shouldn't have said.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah. I
All right.
definitely have to be careful with Adam in here tomorrow.
Adam is-
You with us tomorrow too, Adam?
Yep.
Okay, definitely.
Feels like you're just taking shots at me.
I'm just making sure, man. I gotta protect myself.
Adam, tomorrow.
Well, I'm really proud of myself for not
Adam,
cursing
tomorrow,
in the studio
just
with
for
Adam,
you, I'll
know.
put together a baseball trivia segment just for you to see how you do. Although Adam did win the Fantabulous Game Show earlier today.
Notice you said Fantabulous Game Show.
It wasn't
not
a sports game show today. Speaking of sports, though, the NFL preseason is getting underway at the top of the hour with the Hall of Fame game. That is neither here nor there. But I think we're all going to watch, and I'm sure they'll show it over and over tonight on ESPN and or wherever it is you get your sports highlights. We're all going to watch the opening kickoff, right? Because it's the first time most of us are ever going to see
that's right,
this
the
new
new
kickoff
kickoff.
alignment and the rules. I really have kind of tried to read up on it, but I don't really understand it. I need to see it before I can really figure it out. But the kicking team, or the, I guess the
stopped
kicker,
trying to figure it out
yeah,
until I
it's
see
really.
it,
I want to
honestly.
see it too, but I think the kicker actually kicks from the 35, but his teammates lined up at the 40.
Right. No, nothing changes for the kicker.
Right. The kicker still kicks from the 35, but his teammates will not be lined up alongside of him. They'll be 5 yards ahead of him. And then the other team will be at the 50. So there's only 10 yards between the two front lines. And then there'll be a return man way back, I guess. And I guess it's supposed to be safer.
I think
so. That's what they're thinking.
I think an early, as no one really knows how this is going to work. I'm sure they've been working on it in camp
Oh,
and
I'm
things
sure,
of that nature.
yeah.
But you know how it goes. Once the game starts and it hasn't been done, there's usually some type of chaos that takes place.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for that.
I'm rooting for a little chaos.
And then they'll get it together at some point, 1-2 weeks into the preseason.
But
They'll
just
have
like I
figured
said
out.
before, none of us really care whether these guys get hurt or not. We speak great lip service to it, want to protect the players, but we just want football. I want to see collisions out there.
18 games, 19 games,
Yeah,
20
right. They're
games.
trying to keep them safer, but they're adding weeks to the season.
Right.
Anyway.
Make it make sense.
I guess the only other big new rule now, there's no hip drop tackle.
So,
which where you grab a guy around the waist and then you yourself drop to the ground.
You just go for like a carousel ride, basically. You take your feet off of the ground and you're just on them, and that
a lot of
is
guys
now
got
illegal.
hurt doing that last year, or getting tackled in that manner last year. So anyway, the NFL. Now the other big news in football today, and this is just like the Chargers to have something like this happen, but the franchise quarterback Justin Herbert has been diagnosed with plantar fascia in his right foot. Now he's going to be in a boot. Gradual return to play protocol. Remember, the season's now only a month away. I don't know what, they're not thinking he's going to miss any games, but, it could certainly happen with plantar fascia. I recall this injury keeping a lot of guys on the injured list for quite a long time because it's really tough. This is the doctor in me speaking, but it's really tough to fix feet and foot injuries because you have to walk around.
Yeah, it's like any lower extremity injury. You
Right.
can't avoid not using it. If anything, it's your legs. You're gonna use.
Now they say Wednesday he sprinted into the end zone for a touchdown during practice, but he's going foot's going into the boot, and we'll see. DeAndre Hopkins, another guy hurt, out 4 to 6 weeks already with a knee injury suffered during practice. He's with the. Anybody know?
Who was it?
DeAndre Hopkins.
He's with the Texans. No, the one of the Tennessee Titans?
Yep.
Yes.
He is with the Titans. So many players have changed teams this year. It's going to take a while to figure it out. But
for sure.
we will begin figuring it out tonight with the beginning
You
of the
said
NFL
plantar
preseason.
fascia? Is that what you said?
That's what they wrote. Yeah, because I've heard plantar fasciitis in the past, but it's
Plantar
written
fascia
here.
would be a body part. It's what you injure. Plantar fasciitis is what you have when your plantar fascia
Here we go.
is
The
injured.
difference between plantar. I went ahead and looked this up.
I appreciate that.
Plantar fasciitis occurs when the plantar fascia, a strong band of tissue that supports the arch of the foot, becomes irritated and inflamed. So, fasciitis is a symptom of the fascia.
It's the diagnosis. I don't want to say disease,
Right.
but it's what
Gotcha.
happens when your plantar fascia is no good.
Yeah.
No
You guys
bueno.
are confusing me.
It's inflamed. It's irritated. They're going to put him in a boot.
So
There
his
you go.
plantar fascia has plantar fasciitis.
Yeah, sure.
There we go. All right, Justin
going.
Herbert out for a while in a boot. Bad news for the Chargers, but that's what they're used to. More Gwynn and Chris comes up with a Big Five around the corner. Stay tuned.
4:38 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Sello, Adam Klug. We've had a little bit of everything on this show today. We've had geography lessons. We've had a medical breakdown of plantar fascia.
And fasciitis.
Had a few hot mic moments. We've had a little bit of everything on this show. This is why you tune in from 2 to 6, because you never know what you might get. And
did we get enough talk about Adam's hairstyle, you think, at the beginning of the show, or do we need to bring it up again?
I think we glossed over it a little bit.
I think we did a little glossing as well.
Adam, like myself, is a bald man, but for different reasons. I cannot grow hair. Adam, to my surprise, actually can grow a full head of hair.
We didn't
Which
know.
would actually make me not bald.
Well, I've said... Well,
you said I'm a bald man.
You wear a bald look.
You choose to
be bald, which is ridiculous to me.
It is.
I mean, this dude can grow an afro. If I could still grow one...
Believe it.
I might be dreaded up right now if I could do it, but I can't. So I just lived through my son, who has a bunch of hair. And Adam, you like the bald look. Is that just because it's convenient?
No,
you got a good shaped head too.
But it's not that convenient. He said he gets his hair shaved like every 2 days.
That's what he said before he was.
So that doesn't seem convenient at all.
Before he was married, yeah.
I've never liked my hair. I've got the short curly hair.
I've never liked my hair.
Do you still have the picture?
I'm sorry?
Do you still have the picture of you in afro? Have people seen that?
I mean, I've shared it. It's
okay.
all over.
All right, I'm sharing one.
It's one of my favorite pics of
If
Adam.
you can vamp long enough, I can pull it up probably.
I want to show in the YouTube chat, just to prove that I had hair at one time.
Oh, Chris, you did.
College picture right there. Did I show it?
Yeah, you showed it.
That's
showed
me.
it.
That's how much hair I
What are you
used
drinking there?
I'm sure a beer. It's a toga party, Tony. I'm wearing a toga. What do you think I'd be wearing? I don't know how I got this picture, but somebody sent it to me all these years later.
Awesome.
So that's my proof of how much hair I had back then. But no more. Adam, I just find it perplexing. That's all. That a man would choose to be bald.
Choosing to be
Oh, wait,
bald.
Here's the picture of Adam with hair.
Adam looks drunk, too, in this picture.
Wow! That's a lot of hair.
Are you a teenager?
That would be my sophomore year of college.
Oh, yeah, you definitely were.
I think it's only fair that Tony
There's
find
no
one.
beverage in my hand. I was absolutely 21.
I was absolutely 20.
Oh,
Tony, only fair that
thought you were 21.
Tony, only fair that you get one with as much afro as you can
Let me
find.
see if I can find one. I might have a throwback pic in here.
All right, everybody's sharing throwback pics. God, look how little hair I have now compared to. This is why I don't watch the stream during the show. It's ridiculous.
It might take me a while. You guys
All
do
right.
your thing.
Let's get to traffic.
Give me
and
one
then
more second here, Chris.
Oh, okay, sure. Sure. What do you need? I gave you a second. That's all I had. Whenever you're ready.
Boom.
Whenever you're ready,
I know
play
you guys
some
don't
traffic.
like to look at the YouTube stream, but there you go.
Oh, here we go. More YouTube. Oh, wow. I think I've seen that picture actually somehow, somewhere before.
What is that, a Natty Ice you got there?
That would be a Michelob Light in the old school bottle.
Michelob Light. You were a much richer college student than I was.
Got all that hair and you don't like it?
In my fraternity house, yes. That's AE high.
I know one thing. We couldn't afford Michelob Light back in the day.
That's why I thought it was a Natty Ice. That's all my roommate. I didn't drink beer in college.
All
so
I had was
all my roommates
yeah.
got Natty Ice.
We used to call it Old Milwaukee. We called it Old Swill.
Blue Ribbon, another one they used to have. Paps.
Yeah, cheap stuff.
The cheapest stuff on the market.
Where was that? What school was that, Adam, again?
Oh, come on.
Oh, Georgia. Yeah, I forgot. Bulldog. Crazy Bulldog.
All right. I believe
we better get to traffic in the Big Five before this spirals further out of control.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Headaches for you on southbound 805. Accident did clear up near the 52, but we've still got this other crash up ahead past El Cajon Boulevard. Several vehicles, including a motorcycle, involved. That has got middle lanes blocked. Up ahead before Imperial, another accident. This one's over to the right shoulder. A couple vehicles involved. Northbound 15 before Rancho Bernardo Road. Some wood debris in the 3 left lanes. And Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a collision on eastbound 56 before the 15. That's got the slow lane blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
This is where you jump in, Adam.
Thanks for having me in today, guys. Appreciate it.
It's been good times.
Always enjoy having you, Adam.
Let's get started here with
number 5.
Our dear friend, Jesse Agler, shared a really cool picture today on Twitter that I'm going to put up on the screen for those in the YouTube chat. It says, scorecard from the Cease no-hitter has a new home. Thanks to Baseball Hall, at Baseball Hall, for the honor and for taking such care of the history of the game. Very neat. So Jesse's scorecard from Dylan Cease's no-hitter has made it to the Baseball Hall of Fame. I know that both of you gentlemen have visited in the past, Tony many, many times. My question to you is, what is the coolest non-Padres related piece of memorabilia or thing that you've seen at the Cooperstown Hall of Fame?
First, I have to say I was quite jealous of Jesse that his scorecard. Of course, I am a digital scorecard
Yes,
guy.
but they couldn't take your scorecard.
They couldn't take mine, and I couldn't even take a picture to share because the glare from the lights was all messing it up. So I couldn't even post mine. So,
But yours was much neater, and his was neat.
Yeah,
but his is done by hand. Yours is the neatest thing. Tony's scorecard is an art piece of artwork every night. By the way,
I enjoy the different colors I get to use. Nevertheless, coolest memorabilia.
Again, I'm ruling out Padres stuff. Your father, Hoffman, all that stuff.
I think it was like Babe Ruth's game bat. Saw in the. Didn't we see that when we went behind the scenes?
we saw a lot of great
We
stuff.
had to have
back there.
white gloves on when we held this stuff.
That was. I honestly don't remember anything that was in the actual museum. I only remember what we got to see.
Yeah.
When we went in the back. That was the best, man.
I'm sure if it wasn't that, it was whatever memorabilia we got to see in that kind of behind-the-scenes tour. It was some amazing stuff. And it really spanned from, like, the beginning of baseball till current, different things like that.
I'm going to go with pretty much the same answer because that's what I remember now. Tony may remember the story a little better than I do, but the guy who showed us around was the ultimate baseball historian.
Yes, he was.
And he showed us a scorecard from the game that Bobby Thompson hit the
that's right.
Hit the shot heard around the world.
Yeah.
When the Giants beat the Dodgers back to win. The Giants win the pennant. Giants win the pennant. Willie Mays was on deck. But he had the actual scorecard. And for whatever reason, Tony, and if you remember this, I looked at the scorecard that they had and I noticed a mistake in the scoring that only my mind would pick up.
You did, and
do you remember that?
And he was like,
no way. And he looked at it, and there was.
Yep.
And he was like heartbroken that the score keeping that they had from that game and had a mistake in it somewhere. Anyway, that's what I remember. So I'll go with
number 4.
Katie Ledecky did it again yesterday, absolutely laying waste to the field in the women's 1500 meter, winning her 8th gold medal and 12th medal overall. And again, that was yesterday because today she won a silver medal, bringing her medal count to 13. She said after the race yesterday that she isn't retiring after these Olympics and plans to compete in 4 years in Los Angeles, though that could change. It's 4 years away. Ledecky's currently 27 years old. What type of competitor do you think we'd see at age 31 if she does compete in 4 years? Start with you this time, Chris.
Wow. I don't know, man. Maybe she gets into her 30s to be able to bring some of the other swimmers back into play. I mean, I would hope that, if she's in her 30s, they can at least be in the camera frame with her. But she's got that 1,500 meters. There's nobody can catch her there. Her long-distance swimming is going to be, the greatest of all time. But I will say that, in 4 years, that will be really tough to win a gold medal because even in that event, because of what we talked about before, these records in the swimming keep falling every Olympics. These youngsters, as they are, keep getting faster and faster. So she's going to have to She's going to have to somehow increase her workouts to keep up this level. They said last night on the telecast that she has actually in her life swam around the world. If you put all of her
races?
Swimming together. Yeah. She swam from San Diego right back around. That's
kind of crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Tony, what do you think? Age 31 Ledecky.
At this point, I mean, I'm going to have to kind of go with Chris in terms of it might actually help the field make this a more challenging, competitive race. Because right now, as I said, you just see an American flag and water when she's racing. So I won't put it past her that in 4 years she could still be at the top of the game.
Number 3.
After Jack Flaherty was traded to the Dodgers at the trade deadline, Ken Rosenthal reported that he was nearly traded to the Yankees, but they backed out of the trade over concerns about his medical records. Yesterday, Flaherty spoke at Petco Park and said, quote, "All I know is I feel great. I've felt great since we got back from the break, or even right before that. I felt great and been ready to pitch," end quote. Considering the price to acquire Flaherty felt pretty low, and the fact that he's an impending free agent rather than a long-term commitment, do you think the Yankees place too much emphasis on Flaherty's medicals, Tony?
I mean, they've done this before. I can't remember who the pitcher was, but they basically, I think it was a couple off seasons ago, basically didn't look a pitcher's way because of his medicals. We've seen this. It's not just the Yankees, right? I think
Carlos
the Giants, right? They gave up on Carlos. The Mets also jumped ship. Carlos Correa's having a terrific year, by the way, this season.
All-star.
Yeah. Maybe. They might regret this when it's all said and done because...
But my point is Flaherty's just a rental player, and it was a low cost to acquire him.
I hesitate with the low cost to acquire him. It's all in the eye of the beholder.
Sure, fair enough.
You know, the Yankees didn't like, the Detroit Tigers didn't like some of the other prospects that, everybody else considers good. I mean, that's why they did it. So, yeah, I think they may end up regretting it because... I think Jack Flaherty is going to have a good finish to this year. And if he's been healthy all year, with the exception of missing, I think his last start, and it's just a rental. It's not like you're signing him for beyond this year. Why not?
Chris, what do you think?
I think two things. One, I think the Yankees really did make a mistake. Because even if Jack Flaherty didn't work out, he's a free agent. At the end of the season, he's gone. So... you're renting him for 9 or 10 starts anyway. But secondly, I wish that they would have taken him so that the Dodgers didn't get him.
Nope, good point.
So I'm mad at the Yankees for this whole thing.
Give you another reason to be mad at them.
Right. The evil empire.
Titans defensive lineman Jeffrey Simmons made plenty of headlines for all the wrong reasons when he went after a Nashville radio host and called him a derogatory term while he was on the air because he didn't like what the radio host had said about him on social media.
He called him a cat.
Yes, he did.
Yes, we heard it.
Something like that.
Simmons apologized yesterday, saying, quote,
"Damn it.
That's not who I am or who I want to be seen as. At the end of the day, I take full accountability of my actions on the field, and I promise that won't ever happen again." Simmons and the radio host also spoke with each other since the dust-up.
Question is, are you going to ask us the same thing? Here it is.
If you were the radio host and in this same situation,
no, you're not.
Would you accept Simmons' apology? Tony.
Yes. First of all, I don't think the radio host was in the wrong for expressing his opinion on how he's playing. But I also don't think my man was in the wrong for expressing how he felt about him expressing his opinion. However, what he was apologizing for was the way he went about it on live radio that was happening. He called him a cat as he was walking away.
Meow.
Probably not something you want to be saying on air. And quite frankly, I thought it was the right thing to do to apologize. And I think it shows his character that he could come back, admit he messed up, and more importantly, he doesn't want to be seen in that light. I also like the fact that him and said host talked about it. Whether they hashed it or not is really irrelevant. The fact that they had a conversation, I think, is good. I think a lot of times, and I explained this the other day when we kind of talked about this subject, as long as you show up to the football field, baseball field, arena, players generally don't have a problem with you criticizing them as long as if something is said that bothers them, they can have a conversation with it.
Chris, would you accept the apology?
He better accept the apology because he started it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not that he didn't have the right to start it, but if you start it and then somebody calls you out on it, and then that person is big enough to say, hey, I was in the wrong,
Yeah.
you come back from there and go, nah, I don't accept your apology. Then I hope Jeffrey Simmons actually does whip you because you're really not thinking right.
Number 1.
Tomorrow at a private ceremony outside of the Staples Center. Sorry, I refuse to call it the Crypto.com Arena.
I don't blame you.
A statue of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi will be unveiled. It's the second of 3 planned monuments paying tribute to the late, great Kobe Bryant. I'm going to start with you, Tony. We're running out of time here. What's your greatest memory of Kobe Bryant?
Oh, 80 was 81, 82?
81.
81. That's my fondest. That's my fondest. That's the memory that sticks out because I watched that game from start to finish, and it's one of the few like crazy historical things that have happened in sports that I have actually can say I watched from start to finish.
Chris?
That's obviously the biggie. The other one I remember for some reason popped into my mind was the time he tore his Achilles and still walked off the court. I'm like, okay, this is the toughest competitor maybe in the history of sports.
Yeah.
And that proved it. Kobe was the ultimate gamer. I mean, the only person you can compare him with is Jordan. Like in any sport,
He wanted
maybe.
to win everything.
Yep, he did.
Let's get to break. 5 o'clock, which means the happy hour. I don't know how the show could get any happier, honestly. But you got another hour of it coming up. More Gwynn and Chris.
And welcome back. We head into the happy hour, final hour of Gwynn and Chris for this Thursday show. Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr. together in our Odyssey Palace studios. Adam Klug doing a fantastic job. Sitting in for Matt Scraby today. Scraby on vacation again. I mean, well, I don't know that shoulder surgery counted as a vacation, but seems like he's been idle quite often lately, Scraby.
You know what? It's okay though, because Scraby wouldn't take a day off if we begged
He used to never
he
take
would,
one. Right,
we had to
like
push him out,
make
basically.
him stay home.
Yeah,
very good point, Tony. We are just having some fun today. Mostly, Padres are idle. If you care about the scoreboard, it's August 1st, but Atlanta's leading Miami 3-0 in the bottom of the second inning in Atlanta tonight. Braves began play a half game up on the Padres in the 4-5 spots for the wild card race. Otherwise, not a whole lot to discuss. Padres obviously coming off the nice series whisking of the Dodgers. We didn't call it a sweep. We called it a whisk. Short broom, small broom, but 2 games, got it done, and win the season series for the first time since 2010. In fact, Tony Gwynn Jr., your name made it into the Kevin Acee article today in the Union Tribune.
How so?
He said, how long ago was it that the Padres last beat the
2010.
Dodgers?
That's right.
Tony Gwynn Jr. was on that team. That made it into the
Smackdown
article.
on the Dodgers that year.
Yes, that was duly noted in the article today. Of course, after that, the Dodgers won the season series 13 years in a row. But the Padres finally clinched this year's. Rockies are the opponent.
I took the Magic with me when they kicked me out.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
You left, and they couldn't never beat the Dodgers again. Rockies are coming in for the weekend. Starting tomorrow night, Randy Vasquez will start the first game of that series. Martin Perez will make his Padre debut on Saturday in the second game. Third game, no pitcher has been announced. And that has led some to wonder what is going on with Michael King. Michael King pitched Saturday in Baltimore, last Saturday in Baltimore, got the win, improved his record to 9-6. Go back to that game for a moment, Tony. King threw 101 pitches.
Word.
6 1/3 innings, struck out 9. I mean, it was really, a really, really good performance once again from Michael King. But his turn in the rotation would actually be Saturday. But he's not listed. Perez is listed. So if you're giving him an extra day, that would be Sunday, but he's not listed there either. So are the Padres trying to hold off on Michael King, give him a little extra rest, save some innings?
Well,
or some are surmising that he might be hurt. And that is, I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying some are thinking that because he's not currently listed to pitch coming up.
Coming into this season, Michael King had thrown 104.1 innings. That has his max.
Right.
He's already at 124.1.
Yes.
My guess is that this is a way to buy him some time.
A little extra time.
Get him closer to the end of the season. They don't have to name him a starter yet. My guess is when, what is this, today's Thursday, when tomorrow rolls around, we'll have a better understanding of, who's going to throw Sunday, if it'll be Michael King or if they want to push him a little bit. What I do know is a lot of starters don't like the extra rest. It's a rhythm thing for them. This is why guys like to pitch every 5th day. Remember the rotation a few years ago? They all were pushing back against that extra day. Now, they ended up liking it towards the end of the year, but...
That's right, because the Padres did the 6-man rotation a couple of years ago. Yeah. Well, we'll see with Michael King. I don't disagree with that notion, Tony, that they want to give King a little rest. But, number one, somebody's going to have to start the game Sunday against Colorado. They've got to put someone out there. And, 2, how much time are they going to give King off? 3, King doesn't like time off, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he basically said to us in our interview with him earlier the year on the Friar Friday that, he's actually told Mike Schilt before the season, please don't take it personally if I'm not feeling it when you come to take me out of games. Remember he said
I don't think he was feeling it the last game that he started.
He doesn't like to come out, and he's that kind of gamer. So I don't think he'd want to sit time out.
Yeah,
maybe there's a twinge. I hope not. I hope what you're saying is it. I hope they're just giving him a little extra rest.
I hope what I'm saying is it too, because quite frankly, they can't afford to lose a Michael King right now. The way things are going, I know Joe is going to make his rehab debut here shortly. But, that's assuming he goes out, he's healthy, he's still a little bit of ways away. I'm sure it's going to be more than just one start. I know he lobbied to be an opener. So, and my guess was that he was trying to avoid having to go down.
Yes, I'll be happy to open a game rather than pitch in El Paso.
But they want a little more controlled environment, and that's as close to a controlled environment as you get during a season. So he's going to go down there. But yeah, I hope the same. Because, one of my fears is Padres bullpen is, I think by everybody's account, is an elite bullpen. Top 1 or 2 bullpens. And they got a lot of them. My concern is that because you don't have we don't know how Martin Perez is going to throw the ball. I think we're all hopeful that he can eat up some innings. But the pull to go to use that bullpen and kind of go about it the way we've seen the what was that, Tuesday? Was it Tuesday night they had a lot of the relievers?
What they call chasing a victory, when you're behind but you're using your best arms out of the bullpen.
There's going to be a pull to go that route, and I just not 100% sure you want to do it a lot.
Right? I know you want the bullpen to be great from about September 28th to November 1st.
Right. But we're only in August.
And it's only August 1st, but you also have to get there.
Yeah.
So there's so many questions. But, I will say this.
I'll say this. Joe being able to come back is a huge deal for the Padres.
And I don't have any doubt that he's going to. He's too much of a gamer. Unless something really goes wrong, I certainly expect Musgrove back out there, mid to late August, taking his turn in the rotation, helping lead the Padres to the playoffs. But until then, they're going to have to make do. And let's be honest about it. You could have a rotation this weekend of Darvish, Musgrove, and Cease. Instead, you have Vasquez, Martin Perez, and a blank spot. That's a little different, than what you would love to have. And I know it's the Rockies, but we've seen what can happen. So get a little worried about that. In the meantime, now the Padres are 4.5 back of the Dodgers. And the Dodgers just did something, Tony, that they had not done in, count 'em, 45 months. You have to go back to September of 2017. Nearly 7 years ago to find the last time that the Dodgers were outscored by their opponents in a full month.
Mm-hmm.
But that happened just this month in July.
Yeah, that 8 spot certainly helped.
That didn't help last night. They were outscored this month, and it's the first time that they have been since September of 2017. They also finished with a losing record this month. The Dodgers were 11-13 in July. The last time that happened, April of 2018, that they had a losing month. So, Padres took advantage of it. I mean, they've closed it within 4.5. We'll see if they can get any closer.
Does that say 13-9 for the Pods?
Padres were 13-9 this month. So yes, they went 13-9. Dodgers went 11-14. So that's about 3.5 games they picked up in the standings. So
Padres in a good spot. They're playing some good baseball.
They're not in a bad spot.
Just got to get hot.
And you were talking earlier about the Freddie Freeman and when he might come back, and it's sounding like you got to cross your fingers for this. I mean that his son is going to be okay, but it's sounds like a pretty serious thing that his son is going through. This is much more important and bigger than baseball. But you want, Freddie Freeman back on the field because you want to know that his son's going to be okay. And that may be a while.
Yeah, his wife, released a little update for everybody to kind of see. I'm not sure how to pronounce that syndrome that his son has, Guillain-Barré syndrome. I'm sure I'm butchering that.
I'm not familiar with it.
It's basically his whole body was like basically in paralysis, so couldn't breathe well.
Man.
Good news is over the last 48 hours they've removed the breathing tube. He's breathing on his own. He's made a
that
pretty,
is good news.
Pretty strong bounce back, at least to that point. But according to Mrs. Freeman, she said that it's going to be a long road to recovery. So, listen, that has, regardless of Freddie when he comes back, that's going to be on his mind.
That's such a major thing.
That's one of that if not the most important thing.
And
you
can understand
right
the Dodgers just say to Freddie Freeman, "You take care of what you've got to take care of." I mean, this is way more important than baseball, but it's something to keep in mind if you're thinking of the Dodger-Padre race. And now Max Muncy, I believe, is due back here in the next couple of weeks, unless he has had a setback.
I heard that at least according to Dave Roberts, he spoke to the media. I think first game on Tuesday, and it was said that he all of the imaging says there's nothing wrong, and so. I don't know. Take that for what it's worth.
Was that Dave Roberts' way of saying Max should be back now, and he's just not?
That's how a lot of people took it. So
okay,
we'll see what happens there.
See what goes there. And how about Betts?
I think he's another three weeks away because it's a risk. So he's going to have to get back into swinging. And
I don't think it's impossible. I know this is a thinking on a high thing, but I don't think it's impossible that, and Betts isn't going to come back for 3 weeks. It's not, Freddie, and then you've got Muncy. I don't think it's impossible the Padres could catch up to them here in this month of August.
Another good month
and
like
knows,
that.
Yeah. Whether they'd hold on to the lead, et cetera. But I think they can really turn it into something.
If the Padres go 13-9 and they go 500,
that would be 2 games.
So it's one of those deals. The Padres. Because of the way they played, we're having this conversation.
Yeah, and the way just the Dodgers look right now. I mean, I didn't recognize that team. Kevin Biggio at first base and Ahmed Rosario at shortstop, and they just had a lot of weird names that I know they're big league ball players, but it's got really a patchwork group right now that the Dodgers are putting out there. And as we said earlier, the Padres should have beaten them twice this week, and so they did. All right, check of traffic. The Hall of Fame game is underway. So the NFL exhibition season has started. By the way, I always call it the exhibition season. You know why? Because the NFL tells journalists not to call it an exhibition.
So you're doing it to be spiteful?
So I do it anyway. Thank you. Priscilla, go ahead.
Real quick before we go, how are you feeling about your Falcons this year? You going to be good? Where are you at as an Atlanta Falcons?
Kirk Cousins.
I'm very high. I think they're going to win the division.
Wow.
And I've very much come around on the idea behind drafting Michael Penix.
Oh, that's bold talk. Win the division.
The stupidest draft pick in the last 20 years.
I recall him saying something along those lines.
Pretty sure you said that.
At the time.
Why have you come around on it?
What brought you around?
Does everyone in San Diego want to hear my deep thoughts on the Atlanta quarterback situation?
If Matt Scravy was sitting in this chair, we'd be talking about the 49ers right now.
Because if you know the Falcons quarterback situation, it's been a dumpster fire for years, and I've often said I'm ready to go get the franchise quarterback, and I also believe pretty strongly that when you are seeking that franchise quarterback, it should be a top 10 pick. If you're drafted outside the top 10, you're not going to be that guy in most likelihood, and the Falcons did what I wanted them to do. I also believe
you were pissed at them.
I also believe that a lot of teams don't devote enough resources to that position, and the Falcons went and devoted a ton of resources to the most important position in football. So you know what? I've come around.
This man has convinced himself in a few months that it was a
good.
You are
going to be good.
I'm going to use Tony's favorite word.
That's not what you said when it happened.
I'm using Tony's word, which has become my favorite word. You're convinced yourself of a fugazi, my friend.
Fugazi.
That's right.
Kirk Cousins has been balling in training camp.
I bet he has.
No defense, light him up.
been balling.
The Falcons haven't lit anybody up since Steve Bartkowski. Get out of here.
I actually like
true.
Kirk Cousins now after watching a little bit of
the quarterback show.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a nut.
He's definitely different.
He's
like
a nutcase.
He's like a pitcher.
And I love their head coach, Raheem Morris.
Yeah, I like the way he's been talking too, pouring in the guys.
Falcons talk. All right, well, it's just as good or better than 49er talk on Gwynn and Chris, back after traffic.
From the
Just finished up a great finish to a table tennis matchup. Korea,
That was a matchup, man.
Japan, and it went back and forth.
They went down to the deciding seventh set or game or whatever, 3-3, and then 11-11. They were in both exchanged match points.
That's not the same table tennis we play. I mean,
that's a different sport. They were really good, man. They were really good. And then the gal from Japan, she lost at the end.
2 match points too.
She had 2 match points, couldn't convert, ends up losing. The Korea girl who won it kind of went over to put her arm around the Japan girl because it was such a great, they've been battling for 2-3 hours. Japan girl wanted none of it. She just barely slapped her hand and walked off. It's like, sorry.
See, when I beat
I'm not happy.
When I beat Tony and Chris's Fantabulous Game Show, I said good game.
You did. Too. I said, hey man, that was a good one.
My point is she wasn't having it.
She wasn't having it.
I respect it. There's certain, opponents they don't do the whole hey, congratulations, you beat me. Nah, I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. She wasn't doing it.
She's in tears right now in her defense. She's
in tears. The other girl who won is in tears.
Yeah, no kid.
That was I'm not a big table tennis guy, but that was one of the better matches you're going to see or not see.
What haven't we covered today, gentlemen? We've pretty much hit it all today. I will say that, typically this time of year you start to get your rankings in terms of MLB power rankings. Padres have surged to 7. All of a sudden, their previous ranking, 13. They jumped 6
They went
spots.
way up. Yeah, not only MLB.com, but ESPN as well. So Padres move all the way up to the 7th spot. It means absolutely nothing.
It means nothing.
But it's something I noticed on Twitter that a lot of Padre fans are,
they're
very proud
feeling
of.
themselves
yeah,
right
they're
now.
like, did you see this? We're number 7. So what? You don't. That doesn't win you any games, but it is interesting that in the minds of people, evidently, trade deadline, for the people like myself who called into question how much they were giving up, the people who follow baseball don't think they gave up too much because they really love what A.J. Preller did.
Yeah.
The way he's changed his team. I did go through another article that listed the rankings of all of the players that were acquired in the trade deadline action.
Tanner's up there.
Top prospect. No, but not.
Oh, the prospects.
As far as the prospects are given away.
Gotcha.
According to this list, the best prospect that was traded by anybody was a center fielder, Aiden Smith, traded by the Mariners to the Rays. I guess that was in the Arozarena trade.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Bloss, a pitcher, was traded by the Astros to the Blue Jays in the Kikuchi
Apparently,
deal.
he's a plug-in right-away starter right now.
Right, for Kikuchi. And then Dylan Lesko got the 5 spot, and he was the 5th best player traded. According to this, Robbie Snelling was 10 and Adam Mazur was 11. So Padres gave up, according to, who put this list together, 3 of the better pitchers that were traded at the deadline. But we'll see how it all turns out. As we've said many times, Tony, you give me a parade in November,
I don't care what you
could
give
trade
up.
anybody. You could trade Salas and DeVries tomorrow if somebody says we get a parade.
Without question, without hesitation. I think the other thing is, and AJ said this the other day, they expect the guys they trade will end up in the big leagues and pretty good in the big leagues. That's an expectation that the Padres have. So, I think with that being said, I think it goes back to what
I would also say
what
that
Alden said, that they know or are confident that no matter what they do,
they can restock. But I would also say this, and I don't know if this is true in baseball, but if you trade somebody that turns out to be terrible, and a bunch of guys that are just turn out to not be very good, are teams less hesitant to trade for you in the future as opposed to, you're giving good, solid players. They know they're well-schooled, well-prepared in the minors. They come to your team. You say, hey, I don't mind trading with the Padres. I don't know if that enters into it or not.
We joked a little bit on the round table the other day that we were giving away AJ's secrets, but the reality is these teams are sending their best scouts to go see these guys before they make deals. That's how. Here's just how this goes.
So they don't have to take AJ Preller's word for it that Lesko is good.
No.
They find out for themselves.
Come June, beginning of June, and for some teams even before then, you start seeing at the minor league game, you'll start seeing more scouts showing up. And the more scouts that are showing up and you start seeing different types of scouts as opposed to maybe your normal minor league. You start seeing some of the, top tier major league scouts come in to evaluate. And from June through July, there's a lot of information that gets back to the teams. Everybody has seen everybody that is on their list,
right,
or they think could move.
So they don't just look at like analytics like a lot of these people on Twitter do.
No, no, they actually
go see these guys pitch.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't realize that. One other part of this article was a couple of questions to some of the experts. Here was this question: real or not? The Padres are now a legitimate threat to win the National League after their reliever spree at the deadline, said one writer, Alden Gonzalez. He said that's real. He said one of San Diego general manager A.J. Preller's mottos that you need high-end players. That's what drove him to get – anyway, it's what he told us, so I don't need to read it all again. But he said it's real. Also, Kylie McDaniel, who's more of a prospects guy, but he said real as well.
Yeah.
He said, look, Jason Adam, Tanner Scott, lesser degree Martin Perez, and Brian Hoeing, they added a win or two to their expected record. That might not seem like a lot, but they're at a high leverage part of the win curve and in the thick of the playoff race now.
The Brian Hoeing move is something that A.J. Preller has highlighted
he likes
multiple
that one.
times.
People haven't even looked at it.
And he had a good showing in his first appearance in yesterday's game. So, listen, the Padres, they did it differently this year. We've seen them, it seems like in most of the deadline deals, it's been a major position player haul and some starting pitching or relievers kind of sprinkled in. This is the first time there's been no position player, and it's been all locked in on the pitching in terms of what they want to bring. Now, you can make the argument they made their position player move when they got Luis Arraez all the way back in May, which, by the way, is the deal that put them in position to be able to make some of these deals, right? Because they gained money in terms of staying under that luxury tax threshold because they got the Miami Marlins to pay for all of Arraez's contract.
I also don't think you should be overlooked that when you look at the price of starting pitching right now at the deadline, they didn't have to give up nearly that much for Cease when they traded for him. He would have been a lot more expensive.
1,000%. Shout out to Steven Wilson, man. I'm sorry, man. I really am.
We had to sacrifice him to the White Sox.
I told Jesse he was about 500 feet from getting on that bus when it happened.
Yeah, and he's had to go live through this season.
Which, by the way, is on pace to be the worst
team ever.
Yeah,
they're below the 250 win percentage right now, and 250 is the worst winning percentage in a baseball season. The Mets of 62 were 40 and 120. White Sox are below that. At this point, one last thing on the Cease trade and the Arraez trade that bears mentioning as well, I think. Not only did you trade, you got them to play on your team for months and months and months.
Got them early.
Whereas everybody else who just made trades hasn't got to use any of those players yet. Padres got to use their two guys all season long.
They won't get close to the full return at this point like the Padres did because they moved so early.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder if more teams might think of doing that in the future because I think A.J. Preller schooled some people there.
Again, it's about timing and right place, right time. Luis Arraez is the type of hitter the Padres specifically needed and, that a lot of teams don't necessarily value. And we talked about it. The average and all that is not something that most teams are coveting. However, the Padres, he's like the perfect fit at the top of the lineup for the Padres. And by the way, he's playing through a pretty tough thumb injury right now, still finding a way to get 2 hits almost daily.
And if it's up to me, the Padres need to re-up him. They need to re-up Profar. They need to re-up pretty much everybody would be good. I know they can't, but
I'm definitely a fan of them re-upping.
Those are the two that I want the most. Those are the two I want the most. All right. I don't know whose turn it is.
It's my turn. Let's get to break. When we return, we have Alden a little bit and some more Gwynn and Chris before. Not traffic. Here's a break.
Welcome back, Gwynn and Chris. Wrapping things up here. 5:38 is the time. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Adam Klug sitting in for Scraby today. On the ones and twos, as Tony likes to say, 7-0 into the first quarter. Texans over the Bears in the Hall of Fame game.
We talked all that trash about kickoffs, and
we all wanted to look at the new kickoffs. They had 2 kickoffs. I missed them both, so I don't know what happened. So hopefully we'll see it soon enough. I did notice this, though. According to Pro Football Talk, the National Football League has made another rule change this year designed as a direct response to limit something that Mike McDaniel invented with the Dolphins, trying to slow down the Dolphins' offense. Now, what they call it is cheat motion, and you're no longer going to be able to do it.
Was it called what?
Cheat, C-H-E-A-T, like you're cheating. Cheat motion. It is something that McDaniel used often last year, including 7 times in the opening game of the season against the Chargers. Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan later in the season copied it. What it does is it gives the wide receiver a running start into his route.
Oh, yeah. They do that. They use that a lot.
They use it all the time. And what it does is what they do, instead of going in motion all the way across behind the line of scrimmage, the receiver starts close into the tight end, then sprints toward the sideline, and at the snap of the ball turns upfield. So Tyreek Hill, a guy like that, he's already at full
motion,
speed before he starts running. And the Dolphins used that with him all season long. If you watched a clip of it, you'd know exactly what I'm referring to. Anyway, the NFL says no more. That will now be called a false start. They're not going to allow that.
I'm not going to lie. After watching it for almost a whole
Tyreek Hill
season,
used to be halfway down the field.
I was like, it's unguardable. Especially if you have somebody who can run like a Tyreek Hill. You can't do anything with that.
The interesting thing here is that you and I talk about this a lot. This is the first thing that I can think of in the last 10, 15 years
to get the offense?
that has been, yes, against the offense.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel came up with something, that they hadn't really legislated against, and it was giving his team an advantage. And as you say, it would have given any team an advantage with a really fast wide receiver like Tyreek Hill. But you can't do that anymore, apparently, this year. Yeah, go figure. We finally do something well. NFL says no. Won't be able to do it.
Taking this as a direct
Yes.
personal shot.
Well,
here.
it says right here in the article, this was in direct response to what the Dolphins did last year. So take it for what it's worth. But if you're used to seeing that little motion that the wide receivers were doing, Tyreek Hill mostly, cheat motion will not be allowed this year in the National Football League.
My man Adam sent me a video of the kickoff from the first.
Okay.
I can definitely see some touchdowns happening with the way this is lined up.
And did we describe it remotely well earlier?
I think we described it well, but in my mind I saw it differently. So the kicker he's way back. He's about 20 yards away back.
The kicker's 20 yards back.
Yeah, compared to where his rest of his line is, basically.
Right.
And the defense and offense line up, I think, 5 yards apart. And so the receiving team, they start back like you're going to block, but they got no time, so they immediately got to turn and block, so the collisions are less.
Yeah.
And I can see a missed tackle. And I think I heard Debo talking about this the other day. If you can make one guy miss,
you can go.
You got a chance.
Because there's only going to be one wave. You're right, Tony. I'm reading about it here. The kicker still is at the 35, but his teammates line up at the opposing team's 40-yard line.
Yeah, so it's more than 20
So they
yards.
are 25 yards away from where the kicker is. The receiving team lines up at the 35-yard line, so they're only 5 yards apart, like you said. So the collisions are nowhere near the same. And then, yeah.
The hardest collision that's probably going to happen is the guy running the football and whoever the tackler is. But I could definitely see the kickoff is back in play again. because it seemed like it pretty much vanished.
Was not even worth watching for a while. The one, you can almost see. Remember, the Chiefs were the first to come out and say we may not even use our kicker to kick off anymore. They wanted to add a safety back there to help stop.
Have a legit tackler
to help stop somebody that gets through the first line.
Guy.
Yeah. I mean, still, kickers can't tackle. Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, nobody really can tackle him.
Nobody can really tackle him. That is one of the things about football that I actually do find to be really, really excellent that doesn't get a whole lot of play, and that's just these guys' in general ability to tackle in the open field.
It's not just,
I don't know how you bring these guys down, and they bring them down all the time.
It's not just tackling. It's wanting to do that the next play, and the next play, and the next I mean, for 4 quarters, eventually the mental part of you is like, man,
That's what Derrick Henry's thinking when he's running at you in the fourth quarter. Do you still want to tackle me? Yeah. All right.
Are we being signaled? So
I know. There's really, it's not that, Alden is, we don't have anything else to talk about. So, the Padres played the Dodgers. Alden Gonzalez from ESPN was there. He's smart. He shared his thoughts with Tony and I.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Headaches for you on southbound 805. Accident did clear up near the 52, but we've still got this other crash up ahead past El Cajon Boulevard. Several vehicles, including a motorcycle, involved. That has got middle lanes blocked. Up ahead before Imperial, another accident. This one's over to the right shoulder. A couple vehicles involved. Northbound 15 before Rancho Bernardo Road. Some wood debris in the 3 left lanes. And Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a collision on eastbound 56 before the 15. That's got the slow lane blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Alden Gonzalez, ESPN, joins us. Alden, I know you can't be here long because you're chasing some stuff out there. First, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great, guys. How you doing?
We're doing well. You were in town for the short 2-game series. What were your thoughts after watching those 2 games?
Oof. The Dodgers are nowhere near whole right now. They didn't have Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman in that lineup. They didn't have any of their new guys in there, but that's really no excuse. I think the Padres are just in a really good groove right now. And we've talked about this before this season, but I think it's further emphasized now, even with Fernando Tatis Jr. not in there, just how well balanced that lineup seems to be. They're a team that, as Clayton Kershaw experienced better than anybody on Wednesday, they're a team with the best contact rate in baseball. They put the ball in play. They're dynamic. And what A.J. Preller did with that bullpen, to add Tanner Scott and Jason Adam into that mix with Roberto Suarez and Adrian Morejon and Jeremiah Estrada. There's some concerns there with the rotation, but if you could shorten games with 5 dominant guys like that, that could put you over the hump in the wild card race, and it might really help you make a deep run into October.
Alden, I almost called him Dylan because we have Dylan Hernandez on
Please
sometimes,
don't do that.
and now I know I can't do that. That's why I paused, Alden. I apologize for that. I wanted to ask you, we only have you for a few, but I wanted to ask you because you talked to Jack Flaherty yesterday, and I read your story online, and Jack Flaherty ended up with the Dodgers. Some of the Padre fans were wondering, and the Padres, Preller said that they weren't really close on Flaherty. Was it, if that's the case, was the Padres package not enough for Jack Flaherty, or is it possible that the Tigers just didn't like what the Padres were offering, or maybe just the interest level wasn't there the same as it was for the Dodgers and Yankees?
I think it might have been more the latter. I think, the Dodgers came in here with a really clearly stated goal of adding a frontline starting pitcher, and there weren't many frontline available. Tariq Skubal didn't move. Blake Snell didn't move. Garrett Crochet didn't move. So when you were looking into that market, it was Jack Flaherty, and there was, Zach Eflin or Yusei Kikuchi, who cost the Astros quite a bit. I think it was a pretty limited market. And I think, I don't know that. I actually do know. A.J. Preller has no interest in trading the Ethan Salases of the world in his farm system. Some of the upper echelon prospects some of the upper echelon pitching prospects that he traded away are promising. They have high ceilings, but they've taken somewhat steps back this year. You know, I'm talking about Robbie Snelly. I'm talking about Dylan Lesko. I think AJ was smart in that you guys know this very well, he's always looking for impact-type talent, wherever it is that he could get it. If he has to have a lineup full of shortstops and try to figure it out positionally, he'll do it. And as he showed at this trade deadline, if the impact talent isn't available to him from a starting pitching standpoint, then he'll pivot to the bullpen, even at a time when people thought that maybe the need is not there in the bullpen because he already traded for Jason Adam. He's talked about this a lot, that he feels like that's the type of talent that wins in the playoffs. He said this a lot when he got Juan Soto and Josh Hader, and it's very much still an ethos for him.
Alden Gonzalez joins us here from ESPN. And Alden, we'll get you out of here after a couple more here. A.J. Preller, you just brought him up. He's been the topic of conversation here going into the season. Based on where the year started to where we are now, and I know the full story's not been told yet because ultimately that will have a big part in how the story is told, but from where we were at the beginning of the year to where we are now, what kind of job do you think he's done?
I think he's done a really nice job. I really do. He gets a lot of flack for trading away prospects and kind of mortgaging the future in that way. But I think the Padres front office, and rightly, operates from their belief that they could continually replenish farm systems. And we've seen them do this already. We've seen them do this basically 3 different times. And so whenever other outsiders think that they gave up too much, they're confident that they could continue to develop that pipeline. Now, look, maybe at some point they're not able to, but all we've seen is an ability for them to, at the very least, develop the type of prospects that other teams want, for them to get the pieces that they need. And when you just take a bigger picture look at the Padres this year, they were going to limit their budget. It was seemed pretty clear that they wanted to get under the luxury tax threshold. They basically had to trade away Juan Soto. And for him to add the talent that he's added, I mean, look, Jurickson Profar has been a revelation coming over on a $1 million contract and being an all-star.
Yeah.
But Jackson Merrill has been an impact player in center field, a position that he had never played before. To get Luis Arias and Michael King and Dylan Cease, and now to get Tanner Scott and Jason Adam, and keeping that payroll down. Look, you could criticize him for other missteps in the past, but just looking at these last, say, 8-9 months, I don't think you could have expected much more out of A.J. Preller. The Padres look, I mean, maybe from a talent perspective, they're a little bit less than last year, but not by that much.
Alden, a big question around here. The fans are really excited, and you mentioned him because the season that Jackson Merrill has had, I think, has taken everybody a little by surprise, especially playing every day in center field and you know, not only hitting the home runs, 13 home runs and stealing bases and a great OPS for a rookie, but hitting impact home runs and winning games with his home runs. Does he have any chance, though, at a national level to beat out Paul Skeens for Rookie of the Year?
You talking Jackson Merrill? I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of that.
Jackson Merrill. Can he beat out Skeens for Rookie of the Year? Yes, sir.
I think Paul Skeens needs to fall off in order for that to happen. For as great as Jackson Merrill's season has been, for as promising as he is, I think just the hype around Paul Skeens is so big. The type of impact that he's had, the singular impact that he's had in that city. I mean, I think he almost single-handedly made the Padres go for it at the trade deadline in their own way. Like, it's not, they were still pretty conservative in what they did, but they at least took a shot in a year when it seemed like they were going to be taking a step back. I still got to put, the people in San Diego are not going to love this, but I still got to put Paul Skeens ahead of somebody like a Jackson Merrill and ahead of everybody really, because he's been front and center at that. Not to take anything away from Jackson Merrill, but, you know, he gets to be on a roster where people are counting on the Manny Machados and the Tatises, Luis Ariases, and everybody else. Paul Skeens is at the forefront of this already. And it's just too impressive to overlook.
Alden, as always, man, appreciate you coming on, spending some time with us. Go ahead and chase that news, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, Alden. Yeah, Alden Gonzalez with us a little earlier, and here's the news he was chasing, guys. He was immediately on the phone with the general manager of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Perry Minasian. The reason he was is because of the news that came down earlier today that Mike Trout is unfortunately lost for the rest of the season now, officially out the rest of the way. He has another meniscus tear.
Same knee.
It is the same knee.
It is, yeah.
That's what Alden was able to gather. But this was an interesting quote he got from the general manager, Perry Minasian. Said Perry about Mike Trout, "I believe it's going to turn. He's going to play. My call is he hits 70 homers and wins the MVP. I believe it. Looking at the look on his face, he might have the best year he's ever had next year."
If he can stay healthy.
We'll save that for further analysis. All right, Adam Klug, well done.
Real quick, this just came down. You guys remember that Sunday ticket deal? It just got overturned.
Oh, so we have to give the money back that the NFL was going to have to give me?
Apparently, the jurors did not follow the directions, calculated something on their own, and that has overturned it.
Oh, no.
The NFL does it again.
The NFL saves $140 billion based on one judge saying something?
4.7 to be about.
Overturned.
God, the NFL. All right. Adam, go grow your hair.
Padres, Rockies, tomorrow.
This one is gone.
I feel like that happened early.